coming up in just a moment. You big jerk. I think so. Sending data. We'll wait. I'm worried. We'll see. It's exciting. We don't know. Kick has kicked me off again. Hey, we're up on YouTube. Excellent. Okay. Now we're cooking with Sterno. Hello. You have to watch later, see what I'm referring to. It was something that happened yesterday. Don't worry about it. The guy who was hit, the old guy who was tossed up in the air by the bison, and it was a very memey kind of a thing. It was extraordinary. If he had passed away or was hobbled forever, we wouldn't do it. But there's a myriad of reasons why we're okay. Anyways, so today I kind of did this. If you saw the thumbnail for today's show, which you should, because I work very hard on them. I don't confirmed. It's excellent. YouTube is confirmed in studio. Excellent. It's up and running. What a pain in the tuchus. Man, oh shevitz. And they didn't, I did not throw in the Wilhelm scream. This is the Cringe Awards that I was putting up. This is what I made. It took me a moment. There's a lot of fidgeting with this. And it was at one point, it was like, you can't make a thing with that guy's face. He's famous. And I'm like, he's me. God damn it. Like, I should be able to make stuff of my own face. I shouldn't be punished for, already being ahead of the curve. So, anyways, the reason I called it the Cringe Awards today, other than it's kind of cringy most of the time, is because, damn, like the Hegseth video they just put out is fucking embarrassing. Like, I mean, there's stuff that's bad and lame and dumb and whatnot, but good God. Do you use AI to make these? Yes, I do. And I'm trying to train this one to be more Mad Magazine, when I'm making them, if that makes sense, like the old school cover of a Mad Magazine, that style. And it's taking a while to learn that. So I'm on horizontally now.
Look it up.
Let's get physical, shall we? Horizontally. I didn't pre-watch this because I'm not going to, but the title alone and the lack of thumbnail is a stack of embarrassing that it's brutal. Okay, let's just jump straight in. Hit the like, share the show, and don't forget, subscribe, will ya? Is there a buzzing sound? Oh, look at that. Oh, the buzz, the movie makes a noise, I forgot. I need to turn this down. What happened there? That was odd. I didn't bring it up. Yeah, it didn't care. All of a sudden, I don't know where that buzzing sound was coming from. That was crazy. I just saw one of the meters going, but there's nothing going to it. I'm too close to a data center. That's what it is. I go on my backside. They're building them everywhere. It's better now, though. Okay, so let's jump into this. Subscribe, will you? I was just in the middle of pushing my button. Let's see. I think we can get 200 thumbs up during the first clip. I think we could do that. Right? I think people can hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Like, I don't know how many subscribers we should see. God, I wish I had a meter that could tell who's subscribing during the show, because we got some people jumping on board. I'm gaining popularity. But the main thing is just subscribe. That's the important thing. Just do it. Just get it over with. Jesus. All right. And then, okay, so here we go. This is so fucking cringe. It's like I'm getting like my neck is starting to creep up on me. Like, I can't take it. It's like so brutal, It's like every time, look at the title. The High T Department of War. Dude, there is no other more direct way. There's no more direct way to say that you have mouse balls easier than calling something you're involved in the high T ... whatever the hell it is. Good Lord, man. What kind of... The High T Department of War? To which we all shout out, you fucking wish. Man, like, you shriveled up. Like, you can't claim the pool was cold every day. Good Lord. IT Department of War. For those of you that don't know, he means testosterone. Ironically, he's not being ironic. This is a 2.5-minute clip. It's less than that. But I'm like, I can't. How do we even? All right, I'll do it.
The Department of War, we have the most elite warriors on the face of the earth.
But your cameramen are a little busy, so they couldn't tilt the thing down or raise your... Is your stool pushed in? Sorry.
Every single day, you are pushed to your absolute physical and mental limits.
This is true. I am. Mainly by having to watch this shit.
To master the profession of arms.
It's the profession of arms. Deep doom, deep doom. No, sorry. Okay.
And you're all, and you give it.
That's right. Now I have nothing to poke holes in leather with.
But while we invest heavily in our weapon systems, platforms, and gear, our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter.
Suck up.
We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage.
He said duty.
Which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance.
Oh, is this going to be like a subtle dig disguised as flattery?
Your resilience and your long-term health. And to meet that...
And that's why we're selling testosterone boosting goo packs. Just take one of these every day, and right before when you get up for Reveille, it'll give you that shot of testosterone. Even the ladies, it doesn't matter. We just need
today.
This feels like an ad.
I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency.
Oh shit. So I assume you will be in the back of the line
for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best.
Oh my God. Oh. Let me guess. Don Jr. just started a TRT company. What the I was kidding about the supplements, but that's exactly what's happening. What are you going to do? Put terkesterone in the fucking water?
It's well-established science that as we age...
It's science!
Testosterone levels often naturally drop.
In some people.
Under the supervision of our world-class medical professionals. Warfighters age...
Why'd you have to cut to a side angle for that line? You just couldn't get it in the original cut? You just wait, was it a flub, or was just you were afraid you were going to have to say the name of one of the supplements?
30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. It's a health
Yes. Turn your head and cough is now turn your head and ejaculate into this cup. Are you going to be checking it personally, or
assessment that happens every year? We're just adding this test.
There you go, son. Step behind that thing and jerk off on this piece of glass. The head of the Department of War would like to look at it under a microscope. I don't know why he's fapping. Why wouldn't he be? He's doing it for America.
Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test.
Does it hurt?
As well. If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy. This initiative, it's not about...
So is this when he found out that TRT is not covered by his health plan as a government employee, and now he's trying to make it that way? So the only way he can do it is to do it for everybody?
Artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capabilities.
That's right. That's why we're restoring your natural testosterone by serving you extra servings from the cock plant. It looks like an eggplant, but it's not.
Protecting your longevity and ensuring you have the biological foundation required to sustain the fight. We owe our warriors...
Or rage problems, back knee.
Here's the absolute best medical...
You can shrivel your balls later by overcompensating.
...care in the world. And this program delivers on that obligation.
Right now, as I'm delivering this message, I'm sitting on a special apparatus that tests your sperm count and your testosterone levels. Don't let the zeros on the machine fool you. I'm very virile. But as you sit on it, it kind of sucks you down into it. So don't judge me by the framing.
Taking care of your long-term health
He's sitting on a Sibian.
means ensuring you remain strong.
What about prostate stimulation? Is that part of the doc? I don't know that prostate stimulation is actually part of the. I mean, it might be part of the treatment, but it sure as shit isn't part of the test.
Moon River.
There we go.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
Yeah.
Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
All right.
Resilient, and capable, not just for your next deployment, but for the rest of your life, so you can thrive long after you take off the uniform.
And you know what I mean by like thriving, not being a girl or a woman.
As we know, the modern battlefield is brutal and unrelenting.
As opposed to ancient battlefields. What are you talking about?
It requires and demands maximum psychological and mental readiness.
Oh, so you're stepping down.
And by addressing these health markers early, we're keeping you on the leading edge of lethality and giving you the same level of support that.
Sorry, what the? Does this asshole actually think that your testosterone levels affect your ability to fire a machine gun or run? Wait, why the fuck am I fighting if I don't want to fuck the person that's over the hill we take?
You give this nation the absolute best. Godspeed, keep going, and God bless.
And God bless science, I guess. Holy shit. So, you think he'll be the one, you know, giving everybody the what for? This is so stupid. Oh, God. You don't have to be on the vertical if you don't want to. There's a horizontal version of the show. It's yeah, you're okay. All right, now, that's pretty goddamn cringe. But there's a lot more of that where it came from. And we'll get to it. We'll get to this whole, like, I can't believe these people. This is one of my favorite little things here. They control you. This is how they get you to hate someone you've never met. Well, presumably, since you're calling them they, you've never met them. So why do you hate them? Someone clearly told you to. You're hating an imaginary them. So we'll get to that in a moment, maybe. And then, where are you guys? Yeah. We'll get to Todd Blanche as well. Why did this double loads everything? But the Couch Humper was on Rogan's show.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat, take it higher, can't retreat, feel the rhythm.
Sorry,
Can't deny.
I just saw a video. I just did it. So for those of you that don't know, come here. After the show is done and I'm playing the credits and stuff, and I play one of my songs, which I love, there's a couple of them that are very dancey. And so I start dancing. And then I also have a GIF off with CSL in the Discord where we just throw GIFs in. And Andrea joins in it as well. We've dragged her into our personal hell. And one of the ones that came up when I was playing The Way of the World, which I must admit, the rhythm of it, the song itself wasn't, but the rhythm of it and the way the riff goes was definitely very STP inspired to me. It just when you're messing around, you find something and you're like, oh, okay, this thing. Hold on, you'll see what I mean. It has a very like once the drums kick in, I even threw in the when I was singing it, and this part. So you get the point. So so that riff has a very STP feel. Yeah, the CSL just threw it back in the in the Discord. But there's this like GIF of Scott Weiland, rest his soul, just dancing like he's made out of rubber bands, and that's now stuck in my head. So every time the song comes up, I'm just this business. Anyways, you don't need to know that, but I need to tell you because that's the kind of show this is. We don't just sit around here trying to scare the shit out of you so you come back tomorrow. Meanwhile, there's a little bit of that, I think, in Couch Humping.
Couch humping, jumping, feel the beat, take it higher, can't
Maybe not, but just for me. All right, so yes, it's a sex type thing. Anyways, that's yeah. And since I've never done drugs, I don't dance like that in real life. I think you can only dance like that if you learned how to dance from another culture you weren't supposed to be raised by, but they found you in a canoe, or you've just always been high. So speaking of always high, Joe Rogan had on J.P. Mandel, and he combed his hair because he was seeing Joe, and he's got a bit of a crush going on. It must be hot in the studio. They're both very shiny. You would think they would get a little bit of, Joe, why wouldn't you I mean, you're a multi-deca millionaire. Why wouldn't you offer your guests powder? It's the little things that count, like your penis. I'm kidding. Relax. He can take the ribbing. He's allegedly a comedian still. I hear that. He owns a comedy club, so that's usually the end of your comedy career. That's what happens to comics who are like, yeah, this is hard. I would rather live off the backs of other comedians who are actually working for a living. So, anyways, this is J.D. Vance on the mishandling of the Epstein files. Now, I will take issue immediately with the idea that they were mishandled. They were not mishandled. The way they've been handled by Bondi and by Blanche is exactly how Trump wants them handled. This is not an accident. It's a feature, not a bug. Okay. But let's see what they say from this dipshit.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I've heard this argument is this idea that Donald Trump, was sort of, I've even heard people say he was blackmailed into this.
Yeah,
by
a
the
lot
Israelis.
of people think that.
That's not true, dude.
By the Israelis. I guess they start off with a chunk on the. Why you have to lead in fucking statement when you're cutting clips? What the fuck is wrong with these guys?
It's just not true. I've seen the decision making.
Oh, I agree. Yes. For those people like Cenk Uygur and all these dipshits who are like, Trump got, or Kyle Kalinske or whoever, they're all like, Trump was talked into this by Netanyahu. No, he fucking wasn't. He's a grown man. He's the president of the United States. He makes his own decisions. Just because something's stupid doesn't mean it's not the plan. Trump wanted to do this. He decided to do this. No 7 fucking phone calls from Netanyahu was the reason he did it. He chose to do it. Stop letting him off the hook. I know you can walk and chew gum at the same time, and you can consider Hegseth, listen to me. You can consider Netanyahu a complete fucking scumbag and a war criminal, which he is. But you also can't your only evidence can't be that he talked Trump into doing something he didn't want to do. Because at that time, at the same time, you're inflating the idea that Trump didn't want to do this. He fucking did. And if he didn't, it's even worse.
Up close again. Whether you agree or disagree with our negotiation.
Disagree. Also, I disagree that there is a negotiation. Is that okay? I don't actually believe a real negotiation is going on. Period.
You agree or disagree with the decision to launch the campaign Epic Fury to begin with.
Disagree.
The idea that Donald Trump is being back.
The idea that this is someone else's dumb idea is ridiculous. I got to tell you, this looks like J.D. Vance trying to lay this right at Trump's feet. I mean, it's the ancillary benefit of not letting other people blame Netanyahu or that Trump was bamboozled in any way. Because he's in the camp that's considered to be against the whole thing from the start. And if Trump in the near future and he's trying to run things, he can go, look, we got to back away from this. This was the president's thing. I was obviously one of the voices that didn't want to do this way, but we got to blah, blah, blah. He'll be able to backpedal away from this.
Blackmailed is crazy to me. Because again, I see the way that he makes decisions. I see the way that he processes this stuff. Like,
Or doesn't.
the idea that he picks up the phone with anybody and says, hey,
Boston Brian, be safe, brother. Be safe. We love you. Have a safe flight. He's going to Ukraine. So everybody in the chat, send some love to Boston Brian. So if he checks it when he lands, he knows he's beloved.
I'm going to take orders from you. No, that's just not how Donald Trump operates.
Can you understand, though, why people would come to that conclusion, especially?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at him. He's obviously dough-headed and fucking stupid. He goes back and forth on his decisions all the goddamn time. You know, it's easy to understand why people might think he's being told what to do because he looks like he can't. When he sometimes put the zipper on his pants in the back, it looks like Walt Nada's decision, so it's easier to take them off when he shits himself.
Because of the Epstein files?
What do you mean?
Well,
What do you mean? What do you mean? That's adorable.
Epstein files were supposed to be released. And there was a tremendous amount of
They were supposed to be. Oh, dear.
resistance to those files being released. And that concerned a lot of people. Because if you're talking about very wealthy, powerful people that were engaged in crimes.
Oh, you mean Trump himself?
So you're basically saying like
Basically.
the fear is that whatever's in the Epstein files was used to blackmail like the administration into doing the Iran thing.
Or at the very least, the people that were involved in the Epstein files that didn't want them coming out had undue influence.
Oh, you mean, yes, they did. Yes, Trump made his own decision. He had undue influence on the circumstance. He's the president of the United States, and he's a lunatic, so I think that's undue. And he's in the Epstein files. Yes, someone who in the Epstein files is telling Trump to do this. And you know who it is? It's Donald Trump.
Well, again, like, say this with all candor, like, we absolutely screwed up the comms of the Epstein files.
The comms. We didn't know how to talk about lying or not releasing them.
Like we just did. But do I think the reason we screwed up the comms is because we were trying to hide something? No. I think the reason we screwed up the comms of the Epstein files is one, you know, Pam Bondi said the client list is on my desk, right?
Well, they had binders. They were
from the Oval Office.
standing in front.
But those binders were largely documents that had already been released, right? So
yeah, that was part of the complaint, shithead.
So let me try to.
Well, what was the
defend.
purpose of that performative display of the Epstein files? And she was saying there's tens of thousands of hours of film.
I don't know what the purpose of it was, but I know that
here's what the purpose was. It was true, and then Trump and the people around him said, whoa, 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 we're not releasing that shit. Trump's all over it.
The effect of it was to make people mistrust the entire effort. And what I think was happening, look, I know Pam, I like Pam. I don't think there was anything malicious going on. I think Pam was...
It's not her fault. No, this shit's still not coming out. Since she's been gone, there has been zero change. If anything, it's gotten fucking worse with Blanche in charge.
Trying to respond to the political moment. I think she...
How do you respond to the political moment? By fucking lying. Especially to your own side. It's one thing to like hold up the binder and never release it and go, I've got these, I'm reviewing them. But you gave them to other people and had them walk out of the fucking building.
Overstated what we had and what we didn't have. And I think that she,
No, she didn't. No. You guys set a redaction team on making sure that the stuff she saw and was going to come out didn't.
Got roasted for it publicly by a lot of people, including me. Like, you and I have talked about this a lot. I'm like one of the OG Epstein conspiracy theorists. I've probably gone down every single rabbit hole.
You have absolutely not.
You go down most
gibberish
of them today. Look, the original sin of the Epstein investigation, and obviously I'm biased here, but it was not what Donald Trump and the administration did in 2025. It was, you have to go back to 2007, 2008. The original Alex Acosta investigation of Jeffrey.
Whoa! Trump hired Alex Acosta to be his labor secretary, fuckwad.
Epstein, where he basically dropped the federal charges. I think Epstein ended up getting prosecuted on some sort of local
You think?
thing. But the original warrant, you go to the original warrant back in 2008. What was he looking for? What was he allowed to look for? What were they collecting? It was not looking at a broader conspiracy. So that
They made a deal not to.
happens. Okay, Epstein gets pinched. I think he goes to prison, or maybe this is when
You think? Jesus Christ. How can you say you're the OG conspiracy theorist and these details are like, I can't, maybe.
he was on house arrest. But
He was not on house arrest. He'd like report to jail at night, but he had a fucking key and he could let himself out if he had business meetings.
like anything that existed from the 80s and 90s up to 2006, 2007, anything that existed that we didn't get back then was disappeared. Right? So like when people say, has what you've seen on the inside make you think that that Epstein never blackmailed people or that Epstein never engaged in broader sex trafficking? No, absolutely not. What I have seen, and I've looked at most of the files, is that there just wasn't dispositive evidence. And if that dispositive evidence ever existed, it was probably destroyed after 2006, 2000.
No. If it was destroyed when Trump's FBI raided the properties when they arrested him in the first place, and he faked his death and escaped with the help of the administration.
Now, like again, in our defense, yes, was there some bitching and moaning, and was there some back and forth? Yes, but we eventually collected 6 million documents as part of the effort. The president, people say the president was forced into releasing the documents. Like, again, the idea that Donald Trump could not have killed that legislation, especially with the United States Senate, is a joke.
Whoa. No, it was politically untenable with his own side. Of course he couldn't kill it. He could veto it as president because he has those powers. But if he did, you think the maggot blow up on the drag ass is bad? Imagine the blow up if he'd have vetoed that fucking thing at the numbers it passed on.
He absolutely could have killed it. What did he do?
No, it was a veto-proof majority. If it had gone back to the Senate, they'd have voted on it again, and it would have passed with a veto-proof majority. He had to sign it, or people would notice he vetoed it to save his own ass.
She said, "Nope, we're going to release these files." He thought, he was annoyed by the story. He was annoyed by the Democrats accusing him of doing things bad. By the way, like
doing things bad? No, it's doing bad things. He does things bad all the time. That's the reflecting pool. The reflecting pool is an example of him doing things poorly. This is bad shit he did.
Do I think there is any? I've never seen a single piece of credible evidence that the President of the United States engaged
Yeah, it's hard getting the word credible out.
in wrongdoing with minors, ever.
With minors. Never seen anything where he engaged credible evidence, because you don't count their statements. The evidence doesn't count as a statement. I understand how he's a lawyer. He's playing around with those parts of it, I guess. But yeah, with minors. So you're saying he raped adult women is the point.
So like when the president says the hoax, that's what he's talking about, is this democratic idea that he somehow was a pedophile. It's absurd.
It is not absurd.
There's no evidence for it.
First of all, yes, there is evidence. You want just circumstantial evidence? Go back and watch all the video of him talking about Ivanka as a young girl, talking about Tiffany before she was fucking born, talking about his female children.
Now, the Epstein law gets signed. We find 6 million documents. We find about 3 million of them are actually responsive, has something to do with the Epstein estate. We release all of them, with the exception of a few things that are like, the courts have said that we have to redact certain things or we can't release certain files. But like we did
No. The law states that you just redact the victims' names and information, and they didn't. You didn't. And essentially so that they would feel threatened and shut the fuck up.
release all these files. Did it take longer than it should have taken?
It's taken. You're talking in past tense, dipshit. It's still ongoing. There's still 3 million plus documents and God knows how many terabytes of stuff that hasn't been released. Get out of here.
But we did release these files, and again,
No, you didn't. Nope. How many pages can be in a file? Digitally, it could be infinite. Physically, I'm sure there's some limitations on what will fit in a fucking folder, right? But if I take one page out of it and give that to you, have I released the file? This is so gross. This is so fucking gross. And the fact that, like, you could see some sort of dubious elements of, like, how Joe is responding early on, but it won't matter. Ultimately, he'll lap this shit up and let it slide. And if he does talk shit back to this, and look at the lip smack, if he does do it, it'll be after he leaves. And it'll be like, I kind of.
the problem here is not like
Keep digging, dude.
anything that's in the files or not in the files.
Yeah, it is.
The problem is, if you go back to the original investigation, it was designed in a way that was way too narrow.
And Trump hired the guy that designed the plea agreement. He gave him a no-show bullshit job he was not qualified for in the cabinet to shut the fuck up. Alex Acosta was labor secretary, and then he got kicked to the curb, essentially, because of exactly this. That people were like, oh, wait a minute, you're hiring the guy that has nothing to do with labor. You're going to give him this kind of job that he's not qualified for as a reward for this plea agreement that made sure they didn't go after any of the co-conspirators. Meanwhile, also, Pam Bondi could have tore up that agreement and said, this does not, I don't believe this to be constitutional. It's not law under Florida. We're revisiting this. We're not making plea agreement deals with people who are not even named in something. What the ever-loving fuck is that?
If there was a broader conspiracy, and you know my view is that there probably was.
God. Then Trump would have hired the guy who oh, shit.
The evidence that existed in 2007, that was the opportunity to get
So
it.
when you say there probably was a broader conspiracy, what exactly are you saying?
I think there are a few different options. I mean, look, man, I like you and I could literally do 2 episodes about this.
Then go for it. Asshole, he sits and talks all goddamn day. This is not a 7-minute segment on Fox and Friends, shithead. The mic is open. There are no callers. Joe is baked. This could go on forever.
Down to every rabbit hole.
No, you have not. Saying you've gone down rabbit holes is an excuse to not follow through on the conversation and answer the actual question is the opposite of that.
There's this funny New York Times story
Hilarious.
that's somewhat true, somewhat false, but where Susie Wiles, the White House chief of staff, says, well, we know JD's a conspiracy theorist on this. Like, I am, actually. I've gone down every
Rabbit hole? You've gone down every rabbit hole? Have you mentioned that you've gone down every rabbit hole? I'm starting to get a different vibe from the way you're looking at Joe and saying rabbit hole. Look, that's a high testosterone environment, and you're both shiny.
rabbit hole here. Look, so there's the theory that whether it was American intel or foreign intel, that Epstein was sort of using sort of the sex ring to blackmail rich and powerful people. There's that.
Yes, the people Trump calls his friends when he calls Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room to try and get her to not sign the discharge petition on a bill that ultimately passed bipartisan with a bigger margin, a smaller margin than any in modern history. I think there was 1 vote against it in the House, and none. The only missing votes in the Senate were those who were physically not there.
Piece of it, I think there's a separate conspiracy that hasn't gotten covered as much, which is that Epstein actually, okay.
Do it. Go. We're going to talk about, don't go down rabbit holes. Start digging a new one.
If you go back to the original Epstein guy was Les Wexner, okay, who Columbus, Ohio.
Nope. No. Big money guy, absolutely. But you know who the OG was? If you want to borrow his fucking street lingo, it was Bill Barr's dad, William Barr, who Trump made his AG in the first term. His dad gave Epstein his first job that he was at an all-girls school, I think, or like a co-ed school that he was not qualified to have. He had no teaching credentials. And Bill Barr's father gave him that gig.
Was the wealthiest person in Ohio, maybe still is the wealthiest person in the state of Ohio.
What state were you a senator for? I might have to look that up.
The thing that everybody in
The Cringe Award goes to
Columbus, I lived there for a time, knew.
So you're saying you were you've had a mercurial rise in politics, right? This is clear. Yeah, hold on. Get back down here. You kind of rose through the ranks really goddamn fast, considering, somebody who wrote a book, was barely a senator, ends up vice president because you were in, venture capital. And so you were in Columbus around that at the time, were you?
Ohio was the wealthiest person in Ohio, maybe still is the wealthiest person in the state of Ohio. The thing that everybody in Columbus, I lived there for a time, knew about the Wexner-Epstein relationship is that Epstein was his tax guy. That Epstein was like the genius at identifying weird tax strategies that would...
Bullshit. In the whole goddamn country, you can't find, with that amount of money, a bunch of people to work on your taxes that won't have genius level thoughts between them. They don't have two genius thoughts to rub together. And so he's got to go to Epstein and sign over his fortune to this fucker. And you're saying it's not because of blackmail? It's not because he had control over him? The story about him being a genius might be true. The idea that he was and there was nobody like him, get the fuck out of here.
Allow you to not have to pay taxes. But if you were being a little skeptical, would also say that it would allow Epstein to either blackmail people or to have a separate nexus.
Okay, hold on. That he was blackmailing people with the tax advice he was giving? This is the fallback. That there was no sex trafficking, there was no sexual blackmail. He was blackmailing Les Wexner with the very tax advice he gave him. And it was so good / illegal that Les Wexner couldn't pass it up. What the? Oh my God. Please someone put a camera on Joe while he's listening to this horse shit.
Influence and control on rich and powerful people. And so I think there's an underreported, underexplored story of was Epstein like doing a lot of tax stuff?
Oh my God. Jesus. This is fucking brutal. So the fallback on Mr. Rabbit Hole conspiracy theorist is that Epstein didn't have sexual blackmail on these guys. They signed over half their fortunes to him because he gave them tax advice. They took it, and he was going to tell on people that they took his advice. Also, why is it good advice if it's just fucking illegal? If it's illegal, you can find a tax guy who will tell you ways to hide your money that are illegal pretty easily. The genius part is if he does it, he gives you advice and it's legal. That's why you would keep him around. Anybody can give you bullshit. This is amazing.
Was not on the up and up, and is that one way in which he gained black?
No, because there's plenty of people who give you advice that's not on the up and up.
blackmail. It's not opposite of the sexual blackmail story, but in some ways it's you know.
Oh man, he's trying to give Les Wexner an exit strategy. Yeah, Les just didn't have another tax guy he could run this shit by, or a fucking lawyer. Holy shit. So we're supposed to believe that Les Wexner didn't have lawyers on his payroll that he could go, hey, I got this guy. He's giving me some great tax advice, but could you take a look at this? And under attorney-client privilege, I'm not going to tell you if I'm going to do it or not, but could you maybe reach out and check it and see if this is something that might get me thrown into, Guantanamo?
You could imagine both things being true.
No, I can't, because it's fucking ridiculous. But it does sound like a former senator from Ohio who's going to need that dude's money for the election cycle in 2028 is trying to give Les Wexner an out. No one who's a billionaire like Les Wexner signs over, like, power of attorney over their entire fortune to a guy that's blackmailing them over a tax dodge. They just hire another accountant, pay a fee, and then find another way around the taxes and send that guy to jail. Unless he's got video of you with a kid. God damn, this is weak.
I also just think there's an element of he was a scumbag. He was a very sick person.
He was Donald Trump's best friend. They ran together for 25 years. He was introduced to him by Roy Cohn, another scumbag.
Built relationships with a lot of other rich and powerful people
who he put in his cabinet, who were all also in the Epstein files.
Just didn't have any real moral judgment about the fact the guy was obviously a scumbag. And again,
you mean Donald Trump? Of all the people, Lutnick, everybody, Trump knew him the longest. And again, to our dear maggot friends out there, I would like to ask you the simplest of simple questions. How long would it have taken you hanging out with this guy, partying with him, to figure out he was a pedophile? The way he talked, the way he brought shit up to Nutlick and all those guys, how long would it have taken you to figure out he was fucking underage kids? How long? 5 years? 10? 12? 18 years? Would you have been friends with him for 19 years, and when they asked you about it in a magazine, you said he likes his women on the younger side, and then 4 years later going, obviously, everybody knew that guy was a scumbag?
Go back to defending Donald Trump. I know people don't want to hear this these days.
Oh, I want to hear it.
But like, who was the guy? People say Donald Trump's blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein. Who was the guy who narked on Epstein to the Palm Beach police?
He didn't. He avoided being deposed under oath. He called and volunteered information so they wouldn't depose him under oath. And then the deal that was made by a guy he would later give a job in his administration, who God knows he may have been sliding money to the same way he did with Pam Bondi, but nobody was looking back then.
It's in the Epstein files.
Right.
It was Donald Trump.
He also kicked.
And no, it isn't, by the way. No, it isn't. It is not in the Epstein files. It's in the investigation after the fact, where Donald Trump called and dry snitched and then called Epstein and said, dude, the cops are onto you. So when he's talking about the real evidence was probably destroyed, yeah, because Trump said, dude, you should probably burn some of that shit or move it.
Out of Mar-a-Lago in 2000.
He did not kick him out of Mar-a-Lago. That's a lie. That's just a fucking lie. He did not kick him out.
Mar-a-Lago.
No, he didn't. Joe's wrong. Joe, you're fucking wrong. He did not kick him out. He never asked him to leave.
It's just, again,
Well, it's obvious that Epstein was
And he came back to Mar-a-Lago after the date. He's on the visitor logs going there after he was allegedly kicked to the curb. He was never a member. He was just allowed to come and go as a non-member, unlike everybody else in fucking Palm Beach.
like,
man.
yes, but if people want to say we mishandled the Epstein release, guilty. We did mishandle, especially the community.
Sorry, you're talking about this as past tense. You're not done.
communications of it.
He did not kick him out. He did not kick him out. It's a lie. That story has been he kicked him out for being a creep. No, he didn't. He asked him to stop bogarting underage girls from the spa. After that argument, which their falling out happened over a piece of real estate. That's what Trump told Bill Clinton. Everybody around them knows this. It was over the piece of property that Trump already had a Russian buyer for. They both did. And it drove the price up almost $20 million. And Trump was pissed at him for costing him $20 million of a guaranteed sale point for this dude who was going to bulldoze this place. It had nothing to do with spa or not spa. That's the backdated story. And it was the fun part was everybody saying he kicked him out for being a creep. And Trump stepped on that lie. It's garbage. It's a lie. Stop it. Nobody's buying it. It was this myth that rumbled along for a long time, and then Trump himself blew it up. And there are records in the Epstein files that have been released that show that Epstein visited Mar-a-Lago after that date. When they were fine again. Shit, there's even stuff in there about him possibly being at the White House for Trump's first year in office. When Trump was burning the visitor logs. Remember that shit? Remember when Trump stopped doing visitor logs? Gee. Does that sound like it's on the up and up to you? Wouldn't you want a list of everybody who visits the president in the people's house?
Things should have been done.
I think that we should have just dropped everything at the very beginning. And obviously it takes a little time to review the stuff, to find the stuff, to redact things where you have victims and so forth. But we should have just done it as quickly as possible.
But some of the stuff that was redacted, some of the names that were redacted weren't victims.
So, yeah, I've looked into this and...
You've gone down every rabbit hole, I hear. Somebody told me once that you've gone down every rabbit hole. I've started to believe, because I've heard it so many times, that you've gone down every rabbit hole. Is that the case, that you've been down every rabbit hole? Jesus Christ.
My understanding of this, having looked at a lot of this, but not all of it.
Oh, boy. Plausible deniability.
Is that it is sometimes hard to draw a distinction between victim and co-conspirator. And let me highlight this in a very sort of obvious way. Ro Khanna, who's been one of the loudest voices on the Epstein file. Well, he became very loud on the Epstein files the minute Donald Trump became president. Didn't seem to care about it during the Biden administration.
No, everybody was trying to get the stuff released, and some of the stuff was held in the courts until January of 2024, and then some of it was still being held back. Todd Blanche actually testified today that they wanted to release all this stuff, but they couldn't because the courts wouldn't let them. So they needed the Epstein Transparency Act to release this shit. So if that's true, what Todd Blanche said today, then it was true before that as well, that legally the stuff, everything that could be released was being released or was being moved forward in the legal process to be released. But past that law, anything that's being held back is being held back illegally.
He actually brought one of the Epstein victims, I think, to the State of the Union last year, or maybe it was the year before last. Well, that victim, and I'm not saying she wasn't a victim. I don't know anything about her particular case.
Well, then you probably should shut the fuck up. She
was also listed as a co-conspirator in some of these documents. Right, so there's an idea that some of the people who were engaged in the sex trafficking...
Oh, my God. You mean the 16-year-old girls, when they turned 17, were gathering girls for him because they were being paid to do it, because he groomed them for that kind of shit? And you think they're the same as fucking Les Wexner and all these other dipshits?
Were also, facilitating it as well.
So they were incentivized to get more girls.
Yeah, but yes, that's right. But the idea is that it's hard to sort of...
No, it's not. How about this? Anybody who had a dick who's in those files is an active co-conspirator. And then we'll check on the ladies later.
A little bit of a gray area between...
No. The gray area is all in the female world. All the actual co-conspirators, the ones we're talking about, old farts like Trump. What the fuck?
some of the people who were alleged victims were also alleged co-conspirators.
Jesus Christ, what a dodge. This is so gross.
And so what DOJ tried to do was kind of make that judgment as best they could. And
yeah, then why did they blank out any of the men who were visitors to the island, period, end of story?
Release as much as possible.
Including Nutlick.
But it's clear that he was trying to get in contact with people that he felt were influential. It was clear that he was trying to get people to get together on the island and meet at parties. So there was something he was doing where he was trying to either influence people or compromise people.
Correct.
So it's not – there's some sort of an operation that was going on.
There is a story there, and, I will go to my deathbed believing there's a story there, but I –
Whatever. But we're never going to uncover it because my boss is a big part of the story.
Can't prove it.
He's Voldemort, so we're never going to crack open a copy of Harry Potter.
And I promise you there's not some document that at least I'm hiding that allows us to prove exactly what was going on and how.
He was also trying to get scientists, and this is one of the reasons supposedly
100%.
why he got that ranch in New Mexico.
So a friend of
which wasn't raided during the FBI raids very specifically. Again, he was tipped off. Howard Nutlick was his next door neighbor. And literally, they left the door open so that in between the 2 days that they went over, he could have walked over, picked up shit, and taken it to his apartment, and nobody could have said bupkis. And then, what do you know? Howard Nutlick gets rewarded with a job in the new administration.
has this element. Okay, sorry, I should step back. Conspiracy theories. One of the ways you discredit a conspiracy theory, I thought about this a lot,
because I've been trying.
is try to hide it. Another way you discredit a conspiracy theory is by flooding the zone.
You discredit a conspiracy theory by hiding it. Okay, no. You cause one to grow because you hide it.
So what?
That's just gibberish. Hold on. Back the fuck up. What, Mr. I've gone down every goddamn rabbit hole. What?
Conspiracy theories. One of the.
Hold on.
This is one of the reasons supposedly
100%.
why he got that ranch in New Mexico.
So a friend of mine has this element. Okay, sorry.
A friend of yours, Les Wexner, does he live in Columbus?
I should step back. Conspiracy theories. One of the ways you discredit a conspiracy theory, I thought about this a lot,
Because I've been trying desperately, and it hasn't really been working. I don't know what to do.
is try to hide it. Another way you discredit a conspiracy theory is by flooding the zone. So one of the things I've tried to do when looking at all this stuff is to try to understand sort of where it fits in and to, try to separate the real from the fake. But one really interesting...
Okay, real quick. Neither of those make sense, right? I got to tell you, that sounds just fucking dumb. You discredit a conspiracy theory by hiding it, and then you discredit it. Hold on.
Hide it. Another way you discredit a conspiracy theory is by flooding the zone.
Flooding the zone. Does anybody know what the fuck he's talking about? Flooding the zone? What do you mean is you take the real details that are coming out and then you throw in a bunch of shit that is untrue and it doesn't turn out to be true, so it breaks down the stuff that is true. You people forget the stuff that is true because you've thrown... Right, so he's basically describing what the administration is trying to do, which is if you send out a bunch of stuff that isn't true about this, then people will assume the stuff that comes out about Trump is equally untrue.
So one of the things I've tried to do when looking at all this stuff is to try to understand sort of where it fits in and...
This is such fucking gobbledygook.
And to, try to separate the real from the fake. But one really interesting element of the whole Jeffrey Epstein saga. Okay, so he dies in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Citation needed.
Right, this is at the very end of
when Trump was in office and his AG was running things. and his old running buddy gets arrested for this, is finally going to trial, might spill, and suddenly he's dead / gone.
Trump administration.
Right. It's interesting. It happened. It's weird how Obama and Biden pulled off a conspiracy while Trump was president. He's that much of a fuck up. Sorry. During the Trump administration, according to Benny Johnson, Hillary Clinton snuck into the jail and fucking killed Jeffrey Epstein to protect Bill. And Trump was like, I don't know what happened.
Death coincides very, very closely. This is not my observation. This is a friend, but I don't want to, reveal confidences here.
Why? It's an observation.
It coincides very closely with the end of what you might call the era of censorship in academia. So back in 2019.
Oh my God. Who? All right. Peter Thiel. Sorry, they killed Jeffrey Epstein to free the scientists to sell ivermectin to create wormholes.
2020,
So they're protecting Eric Weinstein and his fucking brother, another regular Joe guest.
Reached sort of peak academic censorship.
No. Even most maggots think peak academic censorship was during and right after like COVID started, 2020 and 2021.
People wouldn't publish a medical study.
The shit are you?
Have sort of disparate impact racial undertones.
What's going on?
Or people were getting fired from academia for not doing land acknowledgments, stuff like that. Okay? I'm not saying that stuff has completely gone away.
Hold on. What the dick whack nonsense are you? What is he talking about?
Where people wouldn't publish a medical study because it might have sort of disparate impact racial undertones. Or people were getting fired from academia for not doing land acknowledgments, stuff like that. Okay? I'm not saying that stuff has completely gone away, but Epstein, we know, was funding a ton of scientists. By the way, where did his money come from? He was funding a ton of scientists.
Columbus, Ohio, by and large. Also, it doesn't cost that fucking much.
But like when he died, it's almost like
censorship died. He freed us all.
The era of censorship started to break.
What the hell is this? Where? Holy. Land acknowledgement is not acknowledging this is stolen native land, I'm presuming. And what? And there was an anti-eugenics bell curve white supremacist stuff was being shut down, and therefore when Jeffrey Epstein, they sacrificed him to Moloch, and then all right. This is shockingly, bizarrely stupid. As defenses go in this situation, this is the worst one I've heard. And he's the vice president of the United States. He's one heartbeat that's, probably, half a heartbeat closer than we think it is away from controlling the nuclear codes. And what the... I want to see, like, how Joe responds to this, because this is fucking baffling. What are you doing? Play.
Has completely gone away, but Epstein, we know, was funding a ton of scientists. By the way, where did his money come from? He was funding a ton of scientists. Again,
like, what are you talking about? It came... Les Wexner was a multi-billionaire and signed over, like, his control of his entire fortune, access to billions. The ancillary, like, the interest off of that amount of money could buy you a fucking island and 3 big houses in the United States. And his house in New York was a gift. He got it for $1. He didn't even pay for it. Who gives a fuck where the money comes from if somebody is giving you giant properties? I think the question is, who the fuck gave you the house and why?
Like, when he died, it's almost like the era of censorship started to break because he wasn't.
Oh, I'm really having a hard time figuring out what the what?
What?
Does anybody?
He was also
In
plugged into a lot
academia.
of in academia, but also he was plugged into the social media companies. Like this is a dude who knew everybody. He knew everybody. So
No, he didn't. No, he fucking didn't. Obama was never over at his house. Biden was never over there. Fucking Hunter was never over at his house. There's a bunch of Kennedys that never set foot in the fucking place that aren't RFK Jr. And the only Kennedys that hung around with this fucker are either, I think, dead or in the Trump cabinet.
look,
So where
don't
did his
know.
money come from?
well, from given
Les Wexner from Ohio, your state.
part of it is suspect tax advice and setting
Suspect? Call Besant. He runs the fucking treasury. He'll tell you exactly what it was.
up tax schemes for a lot of
God damn.
very, very rich people.
Right, but why was
And
he
possibly
motivated
from-
to influence academia, and what was the purpose?
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, I have theories. There's
Ugh.
of course the
Well, most people think he was Mossad.
Mossad or CIA or some other deep state, whether in America or Israel or another.
Sorry, CIA is an actual organization. It's not deep state. Mossad is an actual organization. It's not the fucking deep state. And when he says deep state, he really just means bureaucrats who a law gets passed and it's their job to make sure that the T's get crossed and the I's get dotted. Deep state.
Country or both.
Yeah, he's everything. He's deep state, CIA, and Mossad, and also not.
Look, he clearly had connections to
Donald Trump. I saved it for you. The fucking sitting president.
the highest levels of American
The highest levels.
intelligence. He clearly had connections to the highest levels of Israeli intelligence. In fact, one of the interesting things the Epstein saga reveals about, and I try to make this point, is one of the reasons why I'm always careful, and I say there are some elements within the Israeli government who don't like our peace process, because there are a lot of elements within the Israeli government that actually do like our peace process. They recognize that this indefinite campaign is not good for them either. And the Epstein thing is interesting because
So interesting.
as much as I know, Prime Minister Netanyahu, not a particularly popular person in the United States of America right now,
But
Epstein seemed to be connected to the elements of the Israeli deep state that were left of center. Like I've always found that fact.
oh man. Uh-huh. Yeah. Maybe that's why he hung out with Trump, because Trump was pro-abortion and all that shit back in the day before he realized he could sucker Christians into voting for him by lying straight to their face.
Fascinating. It wasn't like he was super connected to the right of center of Israeli politics.
What, like Ehud Barak was a fucking Sanders wannabe?
America, he was connected across the board. Like he had Republican friends, he had Democratic friends. He had much deeper connection.
Who did he party with the most? The most. Of all the people that the elites, the big, well-known people, who did he party with the most?
To the Israeli left of center than right of center. I don't know what that means. I've
He
always
was
found
hanging
that
out with
interesting.
Steve Bannon and Noam Chomsky.
Exactly. He had, again, in America, he had friends across the political spectrum in a way he didn't necessarily have in Israel.
Like, okay, nothing was fucking said in that. What a fucking, and what a bailout for Rogan and all that shit. Like, just tap out at that point. This is not going anywhere. And wherever they went afterwards was worse than that, or they wouldn't have cut it. Good Lord. He was a Bernie bro, right? Hell, the dodging. So gross. Okay. There is. Let me jump back to. Let me close that. Okay. And go back to this. Can I have a moment of like? We'll step aside from that. That was gross and nasty and hideous. Trump got interviewed. Like has done these little side interviews. I think these are face to face. They yeah. Hold on.
Any moment, as we said, we.
Hold on. Let's see if it goes. Trump's doing this little. Yeah. So he did this defense roundtable in Pennsylvania. And so he did little, off to the side interviews. This is one from Fox Business earlier before the meeting.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for making time. I really
Absolutely
appreciate
good.
it.
That was so natural, especially the part where he's walking up and with a mic on already.
If I could ask you, this is there have been threats on your life from Iran. This is the first appearance outside the White House since the NATO summit. Do you feel safe making appearances like this?
I don't even think about it, because if I do, I wouldn't be very effective. So I don't even think about it.
Sorry, you can't even think about a threat or you would be a fucking basket case? That's his answer. If I thought about it, I wouldn't be effective. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was my bad. I apologize. There's a couple of these, so I should probably count that ahead. I'm sorry. That was just wrong of me. Clear that up. And by the way, subscribe. Just go ahead and do it. You know you want to. It's a little button. It's free. Just do it. Okay. So if he thought about the threats against his life, every other president has had death threats. Every other president, especially during, wartime or other processes like this, have had threats on their lives, ongoing, direct, and he can't even think about it or he wouldn't leave the building. Well, I mean, he is building this like highly fortified ballroom to hole up in and grow his fingernails and piss in mason jars like he's fucking Howard Hughes.
Certainly other people do, and I think they're doing a good job doing that, but
Thinking?
I don't even think about it, Ed.
So the Defense Production Act, we're at a defense summit.
Right.
You invoked the Defense Production Act for the defense industry. How fast do you think that means jobs? And then how fast do you think that means refilling
Oh, you mean like government jobs?
the supplies?
Good government jobs paid for by taxpayer money. Picking winners and losers in the defense sector.
Rearming the U.S. military.
Well, so much was given away by the Biden administration. They were given away just willy-nilly to Ukraine and anybody else that asked for it. And
Nope.
when I came in, I saw this. I said, there's going to be a problem. We better do something about it. And
Because you were planning on an extended war with Iran and you didn't want to tell everybody. So you pretended like we were depleted when we were not, so that you could do this. This is what the whole cupboards were bare shit in the first term was about, because he thought he was going to have a second term and we were going to go to war with Iran then.
as you know, I stopped, and now they pay to NATO. Yeah. We sell to the European Union. We sell to we get a lot of money. And it's not even the money. We have to watch ourselves. It's called America First. And
well, if you're selling it, you're not keeping it for our stockpiles. If we need it, then why are you even selling it?
We're building up.
Because he's patching a hole in the budget that he blew up.
Our reserves very rapidly. And
no, he didn't.
As you probably also know, the great companies that we have are now building plants all over, not just taking one plant that they've used for a long time and doing overtime. We have 4, 5, 6 plants by each of the major companies being built.
4 or 5 plants by each of the major companies. I gotta say,
This some bullshit. We see through it.
there are not 15 defense plants
Some bullshit.
being built.
Do it.
There aren't. Yeah.
And new plants in
No, they're not. They're just not. Nonsense.
different areas to make.
In different areas. You mean in other countries that aren't ours?
As an example, you could say the Patriot, which is so heavily sought, or the Tomahawk missile. So we want to have it not where you have to wait a year to get something, or a year and a half or 2 years.
To sell it to someone else, not for our use, but for other people, yes.
We want to have it where you wait a week.
Yeah, we want to be creating Patriot missiles where we can sell them like hotcakes, 10 to a stack with syrup on top.
Or maybe less, and we're going to have that very soon.
No, we're not going to have that very soon. These things are complicated. They take time. If you're breaking ground on a factory, they're not going to be cranking out fucking Patriots in a couple of weeks or months or even years.
The CEOs?
Well, they've been nudged. Oh, they've been nudged. And
oh, yeah, there's a great nudging going on.
you know, one thing, speaking of your show, and your show is great, by the way.
It is so good. It's so great, especially where you cover for me on this whole affordability hoax.
When you are, and so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, he does. He knows exactly. What are you talking about?
Some of these companies are spending tens of billions of dollars on stock buybacks. They're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, they are.
Now they have to build plants. So
no, they don't. They don't have to build plants. They just don't.
They're building plants all over the country.
No, they're not. Like, this is just silly.
I wanted to ask you, Mr. President, about Iran.
Are you nudging them as well?
On Iran.
It was a Dave Bay nudging.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We
Yeah, we're going to see what's happening. I love that show.
received a call just as I was coming here. They want to meet. They always want to.
No, they don't. He did not. He did not just get a call from Iran that they want to meet. Shut the fuck up. He keeps saying this, and it's never true.
But, you know, this should have been done by other presidents for.
Oh, you fucking whiny bitch. Do your job. No one cares. No one cares if you think somebody else should have done this. And secondly, if somebody else should have done it, why didn't you run on it? Why did you run on no new wars, no regime change, no wars in the Middle East? Why? Why did you run on that and lie to your constituents instead of just going, no new wars, except the Iran thing, we got to handle it. I'm going to bomb the fuck out of them first. And then, you know, if they don't come to the table and sign a deal, I'm going to hit them with the B-2s and then we're going to war. Run on it. If that was the plan, if you were bitching about this and they should have done it for 47 years, which by the way includes his first term when he tore up the other deal we had, good Lord.
Many years, for 47 years, but really a lot longer than that, and it wasn't. And I never understood why, but now I do. Because
it's a lot more complicated than you thought, Mr. I can end the Ukraine-Russia war in one phone call.
You're not going to do it the way I'm doing it. You're never going to make a deal with them. They were very difficult.
You're also not making a deal.
They're good negotiators. They were tapping everybody along for 47 years. Then Obama came in and he just offered them, you know, a fortune of money. He paid them off. $1.7 billion in green cash. And
again, it was not U.S. dollars. It was in fucking Swiss francs. The majority of the money was in Swiss francs. It was all in foreign currency. No U.S. dollars that I can find. And the only bill denomination in Swiss francs that's green is the 50. I don't think they did it in 50s.
Hundreds of billions of dollars. And that really set everyone else back because they started wanting to make nuclear weapons. And then we hit them just about a year ago, with the B-2 bombers, and that ended that. So,
no, it didn't. They've still got 4 other sites.
We got a little bit lucky. Our timing was a little bit lucky.
Yeah, so Mr. President, Dan Kane, Raising Kane is your chief of staff.
Right.
He was the one, or Joint's chief of staff, he was the one who wiped out ISIS.
That's right.
Could he be tasked then now to wipe out the IRGC if you can't negotiate with them?
Well, we're going to be in good shape. I mean, they are really, they've been depleted. Their weapons are down 91%.
It's the same. Like, you just mess around 87, 89, 91%, whatever number in that zone sounds feasible and yet high.
The drone capacity is way down. They still have, but not a lot.
They hit the ships. They hit with cruise missiles.
Manufacturing capacity is down. Their rocket launchers and their missile launchers are way down. Their missiles are way down. You know, down. They're probably depleted by 88, close to 90%.
Again, how do you know the percentage? It's been that number static. We've been hitting the shit out of them apparently for the last week. Why is it static at the same number it was a month and a half ago? That was literally, that was the number he was talking about in the first 2 weeks.
Now, that doesn't mean there's still not danger, and there is.
But it's like a 12% danger.
They're nasty people, but they want
But we still want to talk.
to make a deal. I can tell you they want to make a deal, and
Based on what?
you don't have to be a genius to realize when you see what's happening to them every night. And now today we gave them a little daytime shot, too. So
Ugh, the slobbering. He's like, you can hear him slurping.
this should have been done, not by me. This should have been done a long time ago,
Do your fucking job and stop blaming other people.
long before me.
Something you know about the domestic.
You had a term before. Hold on one second. One sec. Talk amongst yourself. There was noise in the other room, and I was concerned.
Economy. Inflation report came out for June. It was actually deflation. It was down 0.4%.
Yep.
Are you concerned, though, that renewed operations in Iran might turn that around, or is that going to be a trend?
Well,
you
look,
think?
we're making a lot of money. The defense companies are doing great. It's jobs. It's
The defense companies are doing great. It's jobs.
all jobs. I'm not doing this for jobs, but when you think of it, we make our own equipment. We make the best military equipment in the world. What I do want to do is make it faster because we need it, but
Because apparently that's how he's going to patch the hole in the deficit he created, was selling arms. That'll bring peace, for everlasting peace, to the Middle East.
guys need it. Saudi Arabia, I mean, if you told Saudi Arabia buy 5,000 Patriot missiles, they'd buy them instantaneously. So we need this stuff. It has to be made faster, and we're doing that. We are building plants. Not only that, cars, AI. We're building plants at a level that we've never seen in this country. We have $19.2 trillion.
Gibberish on the website. They count 9.2. That's his, not 19. He adds 10. I don't know why, to the 9.2, which would, I mean, you would think that would be enough just to brag on, even if he includes in that 9.2 the budget, the federal budget, which is almost approaching $8 trillion. He includes that in the investment money that he's talking about. And he adds another 10 on so people won't notice. He's like, we're investing in so much. So that's what the budget is all the time? It's just investing? Well, shit. So whoever raises the deficit the most and spends the most during their presidency is the one investing in the country the most?
And I think now it's even higher than that number. There's never been a number like that for any country at any time.
Yeah, there still isn't, you dingbat.
Do you see inflation at the end of the year less than it is now?
Well,
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely.
I think so. I think what's happening is oil's going to be a little bit of a yo-yo for a while.
For a while.
It goes up a little bit, goes down a
Does it?
little bit, and
Well, yeah, once you run out of the strategic reserve, we get below pumping capacity, it's going to go nowhere but up, dummy,
when this is over, oil is going to drop like a rock. So the answer would be yes.
because of demand destruction. And also, do you notice the huffing and puffing? Anybody else notice that? One, like, he's halfway through and we're starting to heave.
A little bit, and when this is over, oil is going to drop like a rock. So the answer would be yes.
One quick topic.
Yes.
The Federal Reserve. Would you be okay if the Federal Reserve paused rates for the rest of the year?
Well, it's better than raising them. Okay, I mean, I'd like to see them go down. I'd like to see our country have the lowest rate anywhere in the world, you know.
Right, because you want to refinance all your
Or
properties.
you have other countries that are only there because of us, that are only successful. You know, they're called blue chips. I don't have to mention them. You sort of know who I'm talking about.
Sort of.
They're like blue chips. But
They are a lot like blue chips.
they have massive purchases from us, and we have deficits with them. And, you know,
Oh, Willie Mays, thank you so much. Social media and the medium, not yours. You I'm not quite sure what you mean, Woody, as far as social media. I push everybody to vote, but thank you.
The tariffs that brought that back a long way. Our trade deficit is down 68% in 1 year. Think of that. If Europe
Our trade deficit. Yeah, because you can't buy shit. You made the stuff that we would import more expensive. It's not because the way you take credit for a trade deficit going down is if half the shit coming in is theirs and half the shit going out is yours, and that shifts over time. So 60% of what's being traded is from them, and you're only sending out 40%, and you want to kind of even that shit out, is that you increase the trade from your country, that your country produces more things and that country buys them. And that's how you lower the trade deficit. The way he's done it is make the shit from the other country, the knick-knacky bullshit, drop shipped Amazon crap that people buy, more expensive, so they just stop. He hasn't created like a productivity and materials, renaissance in the United States where China is buying a lot more of our shit. They just aren't. You're not it's not improving our bottom line at all.
President, and you got it down 1%, you're a genius. We have it down 68%. That's because of the use of tariffs. And I wish I
Which again discourages imports. It doesn't increase exports.
could use them faster. The Supreme Court said you can't use them as fast as I was using.
It's not fast. You were using them illegally. You have to justify them. Yeah, his voice is fucked.
But I can use them actually more effectively by the method we're doing. Because
You mean legally?
there are various
Because you you have to actually prove their value. Shit.
methods of doing it.
So you're giving Kevin Warsh some runway then to lower rates?
I do. I have a lot of respect for him. He's going to do. Don't forget, he has a board. Maybe
So did all right. So did Sidney. So did Powell. Like, for God's sake.
it's hostile. It could
It's hostile. Get the fuck out of here.
be hostile. And maybe it's people that don't want to do what's, the right thing. Look, we create such wealth for
Oh, the slobber.
the world, and we want to create it for ourselves and also help them. But you have countries that are paying 1%, 1.5%, and we're paying 3% and 4%, and they're only paying because of us. If we wiped out that deficit, if we wanted to wipe out
No. How they manage their currency, which is not worldwide, is different than how we manage our currency, which is. Sorry. Are you thinking we should manipulate our currency the way China does?
deficits, just through the use of tariffs, and wanted to do it in one fell swoop, we'd be the biggest money machine in history, and they'd all not make money. But in the meantime, they are considered elite countries because we allow them to make too much money. Now,
Who are we allowing to make too much money? How dare they?
taken a lot of that away from them. They're still doing very well. But we should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world by
Honestly, this is gobbledygook. This is one of the weirdest defenses of him wanting to lower interest rates inside the United States that I've ever heard. The reality is that he thought he could get the Powell, who was his guy, to lower interest rates to near zero or below zero during his first term, whereby he would deleverage all of his buildings and effectively get brand new loans where the taxpayer would effectively pay him to borrow money for his own buildings. And it didn't happen. He thought it was going to happen. He didn't. Everybody else in like the Chicago Tower, for example, refinanced. And when it was at 2%, and he was convinced it was going to go below 2%. So he held out, and then it didn't. It started to go up because he fucked up in COVID, and then it went on, and supply shock and all that other shit. So it went up, and he's now paying $100,000 in interest every month, higher than, I think 150, higher than any of the other investors in the Chicago Tower, because he had this idea that he could manipulate Powell into doing what he wanted. And that's what he's trying for now. He wants it low so he can fix that. And until it gets below, 2% margin for him, he can't renegotiate. It won't work. So stupid.
like we used to have many years ago.
Many years ago, we didn't. Like you bought a home at 19% and houses were cheaper.
That's a quick one. Your face is now going to be on a coin, it looks like, from the Treasury Department?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, I was very honored. It's cute. Not a bad picture, but it's very cute. They gave me a coin. That's very unusual from what I understand.
A gold coin.
A gold coin and a silver coin. It was
Oh my God! Yeah, they're kissing your ass while you're alive because you'll play with them like toys.
very unusual, but I was honored by it.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
You do a great job.
Thank you.
You're so good helping me bullshit. All right. Then he did. I think he did a second one of these. I'm honored by the Trump coin. I don't know why he's not more excited about the Trump meme coin. Yeah, I think this was the other one, the exclusive with Fox. And he might have sat down for this one. It looks like he's actually sitting. Hit the like, by the way. Hit the subscribe button. You know you wanna. Do it. All right. That's my call to action. I'm a professional streamer. All right. This is...
President Trump says U.S. strikes will continue in Iran with last plans for the Middle
Against Iran willing to... Mr. President, thank you for speaking with Fox News.
And thank you for sitting in a room with no table, because it's not awkward at all. Also allowing us to shoot from the side where everyone can see that you're wearing a big puffy diaper.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have seen extensive U.S. strikes against Iran for 3 consecutive nights now. This comes after the Iranians attacked vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. How would you describe what is
vessels? Sure, I can vessel.
Happening at this moment? Has the war resumed?
Well, I guess you could define it any way you want, but certainly we're beating them up really badly. They have to be beat up. We're hitting them very, very hard. We're
beating them and hitting them, and they have to be beaten and hit. But I wouldn't call it a war, even though we just told Congress that we're back at war.
Every single thing that they have along the shore, along the waterfront, you know.
The waterfront, yes, all their beachfront property.
If you look at the Strait of Hormuz, it's now, we're finding it hard to find where they have anything.
We're looking for targets. We want to keep bombing, but we're going to have to probably bomb inside the country.
We have to stop it. We have to keep...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, new nun alert, because some people tune in later or watch the clips. If you're watching the clip, let me know how much you appreciate me when I give you a nun alert, so you can be forewarned. I often recommend putting a paper bag over your head and just pulling it down to here.
But open. I was going to charge a fee, but instead they'd rather spend a lot of money in the United States, which...
They threatened to pull back what investments they had promised if he did that.
Frankly, is better, because I don't like the idea of a fee.
Then why'd you fucking bring it up?
It's got to remain free, because otherwise others will do the same.
It will set a terrible precedent? Yeah. Why'd you bring it up, asshole?
Same thing. But I think we've made tremendous progress.
So your objectives are...
edit. Hold on. They it's bad enough they do cuts in these things because it's a short one anyways.
Others will do the same thing. But I think we've made tremendous progress.
So your objective...
Look at that. Man, slice.
...are to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, that's the main one. Yeah. That's why it was optional in the MOU.
To keep the strait open and to degrade the Iranian military.
In theory.
Those objectives be completed in an air campaign alone? Or does this require a ground component?
Well, I think they're completed now, honestly. If we left right now, it would take...
Then why not?
Them 20 years to rebuild what they have. The only way you can negotiate with these people is through strength.
Then what the fuck have Kushner and Witkoff been doing?
And the only strength is military strength. And that's what we've done. And, I mean, literally 2 days ago, we had a deal.
No, we didn't.
And then they broke it at the...
No, they didn't.
Last moment, they broke it.
Will these strikes continue?
Look at man, they're chopping the shit out of this thing.
They'll continue until I say it's enough. I mean, they'll continue. They've been, the word the military likes to use is degrade. They've been degraded to a very low level.
Yes, and you're an old hand at degrading things, making them look shitty.
And they have fight. You know, it's like a great boxer. You think you have him beat, and then all of a sudden he comes back and he gives you a shot.
So Iran is a great boxer.
They have some fight left, but they don't have much. And Their weapon degrading has been incredible at a level nobody thought it was possible to do it
The weapon degrading is at a level no one's ever thought possible.
this quickly.
Gee, it's almost like these are muscle memory sentences he just blurts out.
Posted today on True Social comments that you made back in 1988 about Carg Island. And at the time you said, one bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Carg Island, I'd go in and take it.
Yeah, but what's the ultimate quote of this entire Trump administration?
It was just bullshit, Joel.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Bullshit!
No.
Do you still intend to take Carg Island?
So I can't say that to you because if I did, it would be foolish, right? But it'd be nice to make a little head.
You did say it before. He's quoting you, shithead.
Headlines, but it would be foolish. But I'll tell you about Carg Island. So
tell us all about it.
We've already.
Are you ruling out a ground campaign in a limited capacity?
I don't want to say that either, but I would say no if I thought it was appropriate. I'd say sometimes you need a ground campaign, but we have other people that will do the ground campaign for us.
Right, Israel. That's the separation of powers here is that Israel will handle anything in the ground, and we're handling all air and sea strikes.
But we already hit Carg Island, as you know, twice, even 3 times. I said hit everything.
Even 3 times, maybe 4. You know what? We might be hitting it now. I don't know.
But the oil, just leave that little area from 25 yards out. Leave that little area. Don't touch the oil.
Just kill all the people.
Because I don't want that in terms of the world economy. It's a chunk of the world economy. So we.
No, the actual strait is, but Iranian oil isn't a massive impact. I mean, if you go in there and you're going to destroy them entirely anyways, or blow up their oil fields and ruin their economy, which is what he always threatens, that you were threatening that all along.
Haven't hit that. At some point we could, but I think it's unlikely. As far as taking it is concerned, if we degrade them far enough and deep enough back, I would do that.
Do you anticipate that?
Another edit, just gibberish. They just cut him off and just. I think they're trying to make his gibberish make sense as best they can.
The strikes we're seeing this week against Iran will expand. Are you considering hitting energy targets or other locations inside of Iran?
I'll save the energy targets for last, but ultimately we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But
all right. Well, then, yes, I guess is the answer.
We're going to hit them very hard tonight. We're going to hit them very hard tomorrow night. We're going to hit them very hard the night after. And then next week it gets really bad for them because next week comes the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
Do you believe?
Apparently, you just said they want to get to the table and negotiate, but you're not going to. So you're just blowing shit up no matter if they say, this is such a lie.
Iranians.
Oh, my God.
Bullshit!
Are serious about making a deal.
I think they have no choice.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. You think they have no choice, but one of their choices is die and go to paradise.
Why haven't they yet?
I think if I didn't do the way I'm doing, they would never
do the way you're doing.
Make a deal. They would have never made a deal with Obama. That deal was.
They did make one.
It's the worst. What they did sign was a worthless piece of paper.
Then why haven't you come up with something better? If it's worthless and the worst, why didn't you have something waiting in the wings before you tore the other one up?
What they signed with Obama was a worthless piece of paper that was a road to a nuclear weapon. And
then why didn't you have a blockade to that road to a nuclear weapon ready to go when you tore up the last one?
What I have is a wall.
Oh, my God. Of steel.
There will be no nuclear weapon. I'll never sign. And when you listed the 3 things, by far the most important is they will not have a nuclear weapon.
Take me back to the.
Yeah, they now have declared that it's their sacred right to have enriched uranium, and their nuclear dust, as you call it, is sacred to them as much as any other territory.
Before February 28th, when you made the decision to launch Operation Epic Fury, was there a specific piece of intelligence
You mispronounced Epstein Fury.
that made you decide to launch this operation?
Well, it was specific.
Well, you know, they were talking about releasing a bunch of Epstein stuff, and it was really starting to build. And you know, the Epstein Transparency Act had passed, and it was difficult to shut down. And the bombing last year didn't do it, so I figured, you know, wartime president, I can use that.
In the sense that it just never stops, and they're going to go forward. And they wanted a nuclear weapon. We knew they wanted a nuclear weapon. If they have a nuclear weapon, Israel wouldn't be here. Look.
They said they didn't want a nuclear weapon.
Well, they say that. Everything they say is a lie. They lie.
Well, then why'd you sign the MOU?
I have never seen anything like it. They also come out and they'll tell you we never discussed nuclear, and we're in a room for 5 hours. That's all we discussed. And they'll walk out and say, nuclear was not discussed. Everything was discussed.
Who gives a fuck what's discussed? If you can't get it on paper, I don't give a goddamn. If they can yammer and roll you, you suck at deal making. What I thought this guy was the master deal maker, not the master pre-negotiation and then tap out and fuck off. Good Lord.
Ad nauseum, they were going to have a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks. Had we not done the B-2 bombers, had we not bombed their nuclear sites, their 3 nuclear sites, and there's
of the 7.
There's another one we're looking at right now.
There's another nuclear site we're looking at right now. Why wouldn't you hit that first? What do you mean looking at? Seriously.
Now, as you know.
No. First of all, the IAEA has been talking about 7 sites for years. You hit 3 last year. All of a sudden, you're like, there might be another site that we could possibly hit. I don't quite know.
Yeah, we're looking at pickaxe because somebody said there's a little activity. You know, we have cameras, Space Force. We have cameras that are...
Space Force. It's satellite imagery. We've had it for years.
They can read the badge. They can read your name, probably Mohammed. They can read your...
Jesus Christ. Just a little slam on Muslims right there. Do that to MBS. What's his first name?
The name on a badge from space.
Probably Mohammed.
And every area of pickaxe, but the other 3 are covered.
But specifically
if they make any move, we immediately go and do whatever we have to do. But they haven't. They were so decimated.
Some weapons experts say that the United States doesn't have the ability to strike deep enough with these bunker buster bombs at Pickaxe Mountain.
They can go deep. We have good stuff.
We have good stuff. They can go deep. This is... are we still talking about what?
Nobody knows about pickaxe. By the way, nobody knows if they even are doing anything in pickaxes.
Jesus Christ! I don't even know. They don't know what kind of bombs we have. We don't even know how big the blazers are, even if we would. You know, nobody knows, except everybody who does.
Something that comes up. We have cameras on it. There's very little activity there. But if there's even just a small amount, we'll hit it, and we'll hit it.
Sorry, you just said there was very little activity. What constitutes enough activity to blow it up or some shit? There's very little activity, but if there's any activity, we're going to blow it up. Well, then fucking knock yourself out, asshole. What are you waiting for? Hold on, I'm going to move the chat over so we can make it a little bigger, by the way. Nobody knows. There's very little movement there, but if there's any movement beyond the little bit that is obviously happening,
I want to ask.
I mean, it all looks really little. I mean, they look like ants from space.
About the Telegon facility, it's outside of Tehran, and it was hit in U.S. strikes previously. These are satellite images from June and July, and on June 22nd, you can see activity at this site. Yeah. And then on July 7th, there is movement. There are trucks and cranes and...
Sorry. This is good. This is good. This is just like, oh my God, did this asshole, does he have is there a leaker in Space Force? Or is this dude just using OSINT fucking, like, Google Earth shit?
That image, freshly poured concrete.
Right.
What do these images say to you?
What I'm hearing is that they put, and what they've watched it, that they poured concrete to close up the entrances so we couldn't get into it. So that's
what
they're saying. But
is that what they're saying?
We can hit that one very easily. You know, it only takes a matter of minutes for us to do it and do major damage.
Well, then kind of why wouldn't you? If degrading their military is the whole point, why is that off limits versus blowing up a fucking submarine repair shop when you allegedly think they don't have any submarines anymore?
Major damage. And when they know it's coming, they disappear.
He's going to walk straight out of this fucking interview and yell at Pete Hegseth and say, bomb this site.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing here.
And sir, on Monday you announced that the United States is reimposing the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports.
Started now.
Shipping data trackers indicate that just 10 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. Less than 10.
He is not going to like this guy. Like, this dude is not making any friends in the White House with this interview.
Percent of what normally.
Trump thought this was going to be a soft tee up, and somebody's going to get an ass chewing after
goes
this.
Through this critical waterway.
Mm-hmm.
When you say the strait is open, what do you mean?
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's open if people want to go through it.
It's not my fault it's closed. They're chicken shit.
We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out, but it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
You've called the new leadership in Iran a changed regime. Do you still believe that?
Well, I knew the first group for a little while, and they were...
And then I killed them.
Evil, and they're no longer with us. I knew the second group also a little bit better, and they were...
I got to know them. It was short, but I grew very close to them in a very short period of time.
We're evil, and they're no longer with us. And the third group, they have some bad ones in there, some very bad ones in there.
Just some?
And I think they're the ones that are stopping a deal.
Well, then who are the good ones?
So are you negotiating with the wrong people?
Well, now I don't want to negotiate now. I said, let's not negotiate. 3 days ago, we had a deal.
When was...
No, we didn't. Now, it was 2 days ago today.
When's the last time you spoke with an Iranian official?
Well, not me, but let's say my representatives. I have spoken to them, but my representatives over the course of...
February?
Well, actually, an hour ago.
And what message was delivered?
They want to make a deal, but every time they make a deal, they break it. They don't want to...
Well, then they don't want to make a deal. The hell is this?
Die. People don't want to die.
Hold on, what? Back the fuck up.
An hour ago.
And what message was delivered?
They want to make a deal, but every time they make a deal, they break it. They don't want to die. People don't want to die. Yeah, about an hour ago.
And
they don't want to die? What do you mean? If they make a deal, they can't carry it out because the other people that they're representing will kill them for making the deal? So these people aren't cheating you. They're getting killed trying to feed your... like your no-goes and what you want to accomplish to the other people, and they're like, pow.
What message was delivered?
You better make a deal. You're not going to have anybody left.
And they're like, dude, I'm trying to make the deal you're giving me, and if I go back to those guys, they're going to blow my fucking brains out. If I'm lucky.
Very careful with the civilian population, as you know, but I said,
but we don't have to be.
You better make a deal. You're not going to have anything left.
And you think they will?
We're being very careful with your civilians, but don't test us or I'll just start killing you people.
They should. I don't know if they will or not.
Sir, thank you for speaking with Fox News.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
More like much. He's not a fan of that one. Well, look how he gave him the bottom palm. He rolled over like a dog. Hilarious. That one went a little bit longer. Where's Fox News in this? There's so much shit. Okay, couple more things real quick. Just the opening part of this. I think he'll go around. But this is the Defense and Innovation Summit, which will be no doubt embarrassing. Also,
from the lakes of Minnesota.
Oh, quit it. Jesus Christ. He's got to stand there the whole fucking time. Ugh.
Dumb, 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 dumb. Dumb, dumb, stupid. Dumb,
You just gotta
silly,
stand there and
stupid, dumb,
clap
dumb.
while the song's going on. Can you just not
Dumb, stupid. Dumb, silly, stupid.
Keep
dumb,
clapping.
Dumb.
Keep-
Dopey,
don't stop.
dippy, dumb,
Everybody keep
dumb,
clapping.
Stupid, really dumb. Moron. Dumb, 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 dumb. Dumb, dumb, stupid, dumb, silly, stupid, dumb, dumb, dumb. Dopey, dippy, dumb, dumb, stupid, really dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. Moron.
What the hell? Oof. That's a bad one. And when he tries to do the Churchill chin. Whoa.
Dum 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 dumpin' dumb dum dum stupid dumb silly stupid dumb dumb dopey dippy dumb dumb stupid really dumb.
Jesus.
Dum dum.
Can you imagine just having to stand there while a Lee Greenwood song plays out? Holy sh! See, look at that. And then, okay, when I'm done, you can sit down. Oh, God. Hold on. Let me place this over here.
What a great song that is.
It's so good. We just all have to stand and listen to it.
We've all heard it.
Yes, we have. Lots.
Became hot. Lee became very wealthy. Lee Greenwood, he's fabulous, and I want to thank him. He's been with us from the beginning.
Yeah, you guys sell Bibles together. A book you have never read.
A great guy, great talent. And Pennsylvania, you are really rocking. You got the big ones here. And David, Dina. No, I'm in a world where I'm shaking hands with all celebrity business people mostly, but they're biggest names in business, and they're all spending money in our country, but they're all spending money in Pennsylvania. So I just want to say thank you. But this is a hot place.
It is so hot.
It's a hot, we would say it's a hot commonwealth. Never call it a state. You're in
Oh, my God.
deep trouble. I've seen people's political careers end over that.
Bullshit.
Just call it a commonwealth. A lot of people don't remember that.
No, they have to remind you. That's why you think that.
But I think it's great to see what's going on and to see the kind of genius that I'm surrounded by. All of the people that I met backstage, but it's pure genius. I want to thank Senator David McCormick for organizing this extraordinary event. And I came to another one with you about a year ago. And that was a monster, but it wasn't like this one. This is even beyond. I was on energy. And it was very impressive, but this is something crazy what's going on.
It is crazy.
Outstanding work on behalf of the incredible people of Pennsylvania. You know, he followed me along the campaign trail, and
Oh, God. They loved me and I won and blah,
he
blah,
had
blah.
a tough race. It was a tough race. A lot of people wouldn't have had the courage to do it. It takes guts to run for office. People don't know that. Only the people that never get there know it. But the fact
Sorry, the winners don't realize how hard it was?
that you did what you did, you did it once, and you did it really well, but things didn't work out, and you did it against actually a much tougher.
What the fuck was that?
Did it really well, but things didn't work out, and you did it against actually a much tougher opponent.
They cut something out because it was awful?
And it wasn't even close. So I think he's a great guy, great spectacular.
Awesome. Cool. I come not to praise rando asshole, I come to bury him.
Guy with a great helper, right?
He's a great little helper.
But we're here today to celebrate a colossal victory for this Commonwealth and for the entire nation. This afternoon,
They've at least put plastic coating on his pages so he doesn't slobber on them anymore. I guess that's a move.
announcing nearly
That's positive.
$10 billion of new investments in our defense industrial base right here in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And
Yes, nothing says freedom and the ingenuity of the American people like government spending on defense contracting to shore up the economy in an area you want to win later. No politician ever does that.
Investments will create more than 4,000 jobs. Pennsylvania workers will build the ships, submarines, trucks, weapons, and industries that will ensure America remains the strongest and most powerful nation in the history of the world. We're doing better now than we've ever done. We have
Okay, it's going to be the same rambly shit.
19.2.
Okay, same lie. Okay, before I get to that, hold on, I'm gonna jump out of here because I'm over time anyways. But I want to show you guys a couple of things before we do this. This is clear that out. Man, this is gonna be. This is kind of a side. Can I a point of privilege, Mr. Chairman? Just if somebody who already saw this is gonna. Are you guys gonna warn me in the chat room at how dumb this is? Chenk's warning about AI. Ooh. Let's see what the warning is about AI. Let me guess. Data center energy use or some shit. Billionaires.
Economists are saying, this AI thing is going to be a disaster. I don't want to say told you because we're super worried about it.
Economists and AI insiders warn of incoming job loss tsunami. They've been talking about this for a while, and it actually turned out in the most recent studies not to be the case. But well, let's go.
How big a disaster it's going to be. I'm going to give you some predictions on how awful this is going to be for our economy. But it's good to
You mean there's a bunch of people who are going to lose jobs you don't do?
See that economists are waking up and going, oh, right. It's not going to be rainbows and unicorns. It's going to be an enormous amount of unemployment, let alone other parts of it. Elliot has a story.
Yeah, so over the past
Go for it, Elliot.
few years, economists have largely been on the fence about the potential impact of AI on the livelihoods of American workers.
Which economists are these?
With many highlighting how historically concerns about technology have tended to be a little overblown. But a new statement signed by almost 200 economists and tech leaders, including 16 Nobel laureates, seems to signal a shift away from skepticism and toward the need for immediate action. In fact, the title of the statement is just "We must act now." But what it says is only almost as notable as who actually signed off on it. So first, the statement. 1. AI may become radically more powerful over the next 10 years.
Wow. You think?
2. This could
may become
an unprecedented transformation of our economy, larger than the Industrial Revolution, but unfolding over a vastly shorter time frame. It could bring risks, including large-scale job displacement.
Which is an interesting thing. They don't say large-scale job loss, because they're not sure of it, so they say displacement, but everybody breezes past it.
As well as opportunities such as major gains in living standards.
So is that what the warning is about? As well as opportunities such as major gains in living standards. Oh, you mean the jobs that aren't going to be done anymore because of these things will lower the costs of the average item that we're talking about so that more people can afford them than just the rich? Sort of like when furniture has to be hand carved, only rich people have nice furniture, but IKEA.
3. Economists, policymakers, and technology leaders must act now to understand the economics of transformative AI and to build the incentives, guardrails, and institutions needed to steer AI in a direction that complements humans and benefits society.
This is shit you actually hear from OpenAI and Anthropic.
So while the statement does not offer actual specific policy guidelines, it does.
Oh, fuck you. Oh my God.
Seem to signal an overall shift in the general attitude of economists
that they're pointing out that it might raise everyone's living standards
around
as well.
AI, at least according to Eric Brynjolfsson.
Yeah, this is like TYT doing a story from a year and a half ago. Next, do one about AI hallucinations.
A Stanford economist who also helped put together this effort. There's been a notable change in the profession. I still see a big gap there, a big mismatch, and I'm kind of worried that we're not going to be ready for the tsunami that is coming.
Kinda?
That sounds alarming, and to make matters a little...
I don't know, the kinda part kind of takes the alarm out of it. Hi, 911, what's your emergency? I kind of think there's a fire. What do you think? Well, there's smoke. Might be steam. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on smoke. It might be my neighbor who, blazes huge blunts after work, but I can't really tell. Yeah. Can you send a fire truck? Yeah. Just in case it is a fire. I mean, yes, it wasn't yesterday either. Okay. My worry is that in a couple of weeks it might actually be a fire. Could you send a fire truck right now? Yeah. I'm just worried if they install sprinklers, we won't need firefighters anymore. And then who will I call? Jesus.
Worse, the call may be coming from inside the data center, and that's because among the signatories are people from Google as well as OpenAI and Anthropic. There's Sarah Fryer, OpenAI's finance chief. There is Jeff Dean from Google's DeepMind, and Jack Clark, a co-founder of Anthropic. So altogether, there are 16 signatures from people associated with OpenAI or Anthropic who are joining with economists.
Let me guess, they're the ones who threw in the maybes and the kind ofs?
And other tech leaders in urging immediate action. And according to Bryn Jolfson...
Immediate action with no policy direction. Fuck off. We need immediate action. What do we do? I don't know. Somebody ought to do something quick. Like what? Go ask an economist or somebody who works in AI. That's you guys. Holy shit.
A lot of the difficulty facing economists here boils down to contradictory measurements that make it very difficult to draw a conclusion. So
yeah, but that won't stop Cenk, I'm sure.
On one hand, the unemployment rate has been mostly holding steady. However, white-collar payroll...
Sorry, somebody has got a question for me in this thing. Hold on one second. Is it related to said topic, or should I look it up? Are you going to cover the BS show tomorrow night? Yes, I am. I will be, yeah. I might have to do it after, because I have a little family obligation that was there before this horseshit started, but I will do my best.
Have been contracting now for years, something one economist said is virtually unheard of outside a recession. Labor market researchers now are finding that the disparity is very likely due to the fact that AI's impact is appearing as underemployment and workforce exits rather than just unemployment. Ultimately, economists seem a little less worried about the technology itself and a lot more worried about the time and how quickly it might transform the economy and how unprepared we seem to be. So
Cenk wants everybody to prepare to have Luddite revolution. We need to set fire to these things so that they don't improve everyone else's life. And what happens if they cure cancer and we got a bunch of healthy people sitting around with no jobs that they didn't want in the first place? What are we going to do if the wage slaves that he is what he calls the working people, if the wage slaves don't have anything to do?
Cenk, thoughts on AI and the coming apocalypse?
Oh God, this is the coming apocalypse. So the apocalypse is what? The part where they're like, this might improve everyone's life?
Yeah.
Quickly?
Yeah, so I'm an alarmist on this, and unfortunately...
most stupid people are.
I'm worried that I'm going to be right for like...
Well, don't worry. If past is prologue, no one is worried about that.
90% of my predictions, I say, I hope I'm wrong. So, for example, when I said, I think the Iraq war is going to be a disaster...
Yes, you were alone in that.
I hope I'm wrong.
Sorry, that was how you stated it? The rest of us were in the streets yelling for, no blood for oil.
So yes, we've been.
And that was what he said about the Iraq War. It's going to be a disaster. I hope I'm wrong.
Around forever, and
what, you thought there? Sorry, at some point you thought there was an option where the Iraq War would be a plus.
We're on air when the Iraq War was getting started, before it got started. So, so in this case, I'm going to do another time travel piece here.
I'm just ready.
Dumb, stupid, dumb.
Here we go.
1990s.
Oh boy.
Back when
you were doing Guess the Camel Toe with Anna, when you named this show after the people that committed the Armenian genocide back then.
Republican and Bill Clinton was in office. I said, look, I might be against Bill Clinton, but I got news for you guys. It's never going to get better than this. Like, the unemployment was at a record low, inflation was at a record low, the economy was booming, everything was going right. By the way,
everything?
Later I became a Democrat partly because of that, right? I was like, well, it was never going to get better than this if we have a Democratic president. So it was, of course, as you all know, or a lot of you know, it's more complicated than that because then Bill Clinton deregulated everything and led to disaster, right?
No, he didn't.
But
he did not deregulate everything. You might not like some of his deregulation, but you know, the people who were Republicans at the time were the people that were leading the charge about this philandering, blowjob getting asshole cannot drive our economy, and it helped pressure him. And also, he's not a Democrat. You're not a Democrat. You aren't.
That time I said it's never going to get better than this, not because I was worried about the future, but because I was just noting in my lifetime and in what I've studied in American history, I don't know that we've ever had an economy that good, right? So now I'm saying the same thing, but for a completely different reason. I'm not sure that it's ever going to get better than today.
Wow. That's right, America. Trump has hit the apex of the economy.
Not because today is so great, but because I'm nearly positive tomorrow is going to be worse and the day after that is going to be worse.
Right, because that's your intention.
And on we go until best case scenario, we elect someone in 28 and they begin the turnaround in 2029. But that means we've got a brutal.
Yeah, that's why voting last time mattered, you fuckwad.
Stretch of years coming up here.
Oh God, one of the guys who's almost solely responsible for the deficit of 6 million votes for Harris is suddenly worried about the situation Trump has gotten us into. Jesus Christ.
Things are only going to get worse. So now we're completely back in the Iran war. There's no chance of peace left.
There never was.
So that's going to be a night.
By the way, Cenk's one of these assholes who thought Trump would be better for Gaza than Harris. That just for real. And well, I take that back. I don't know if it was for real. That was the selling point.
Mayor, in a way that like no one understands right now. They're acting like it's no big deal.
Who the fuck is acting like Iran is no big deal?
I'll come back to that. And now you add on top of this the AI collapse that we've been telling you about now for a couple of years.
The AI collapse.
So it's just a matter of logic, guys. So there's two factors here.
Okay, here's the logic.
As to why this is so obvious. Number one, this is like the 200th time in a row where the people working in the AI companies, OpenAI and Anthropic, are going, watch out. And the rest of the economy and the politicians, the media are like, don't worry about it. They say that they're going to destroy the world, but I'm sure the guys working on it are wrong. Okay, but by the way, when the guy's making money.
Also, the finance person at OpenAI is not one of the programmers in the base. Like, she's not one of the people who's designing the fucking thing. And her trepidation about it might be from the fact that the heads of OpenAI are in the business of putting themselves out of business.
Off of it say, oh no, it'll be great and we'll all have.
No one's making money off of it, dumb fuck. They're in the hole. They are in the process of creating effectively a new internet. The money that will be made off of the top of it will be made by other people using it. Just like the intranet that became the internet.
Personal robots, and they'll cook salmon for you. They're like, yeah, that we believe. Yes, that's awesome, right? I ignore the naysayers, right? No, I wouldn't ignore the naysayers, especially when when the call is coming from inside.
First of all, the naysayers aren't naysayers. There's a whole lot of kinda and maybe in that fucking statement you just read. And one of the big standout points is like, this might lead to a better life for everybody. We don't know, but somebody ought to do something immediately to rein that shit in so that it doesn't, if it does.
The house, right?
What, again, read the whole fucking paper if the 3 points you read are supposed to be the big alarm bell.
But the second part, Elliot, is just obvious logic. So
what are the fucking rank and file plebes going to do if they don't have shitty grind jobs to do? Who are they going to rail against if they're not, if Amazon replaces their workforce with robots? Who will be the TYT viewer?
what does AI do? Even for the guys who love AI, they say it makes things more efficient. So, and they are constantly bragging. You go on CNBC any given day, okay, whether it's the website or the channel, and they're like, great news! Another company has fired 10% of their employees. Now they think it's great news because their stock price goes up.
Hang on. You don't actually believe Jack Dorsey fired those people from his company because AI. He can't justify that number of employees. His company is bullshit. You don't think Meta fired a bunch of people because they're replacing them with AI, do you? No, it's because Zuckerberg, who's a fucking moron, put all of his chips on the metaverse, named the company after it, thought they were going to make trillions selling virtual real estate, and now they're having to fire the people that run that part of the company to switch over to AI. Companies make bad bets all the time. And a big portion of the people they're firing aren't even in the fucking country. They're people that they purchase cheap labor in other countries so that they wouldn't have to employ Americans who want too much and want unions and all that stuff.
Right? Because they're like, you became more efficient. The other night I was scrolling.
Oh my God. Now he's going to go to a digital fucking Shopify. He's doing a Shopify ad in the middle of this. Shopify has an AI you can use to help run your store. It does. Fuck you. This asshole gives a goddamn. You don't think everyone's like, hey, Shopify, and you can use Claude to make your site. You won't even have to hire anybody. You can have your own Etsy store and never touch Walmart ever. Yes, Shopify is run by fucking AI. What a douchebag.
Shop TY.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at this. Banned in the UK, Cenk and Hassan. Get the fuck out of here. You're selling that cheesy, fake. This is print on demand, and they're making it look like it's like somebody's actually doing a regular screened punk shirt. You with a shirt. Buy my print on demand shirt so that. Fuck you. Okay, so here we go. The fact they put a Shopify ad in the middle of this is so telling.
You'll be able
with a little bell at the end
to maximize profit better. Another company could cut 25% of their workforce. This is great news. Is it? Is it?
Okay, now do forklifts, tractors. How many guys with saws did a chipper shredder put out of business?
Because everyone, as I've been telling you for now about 2 years, is in a race to cut 25% of their staff. What do you think that happens?
Or expand their output by adding AI to those people.
Happens when all the companies do that. So we're going to hit 10% unemployment super easy and super quick. And I don't know where it stops. I'd be shocked if we didn't get to 12% unemployment. I think the outer edge might be 25% unemployment. But guys, these numbers, you have to understand, are catastrophic.
And you helped get the dumbest group of people to be in charge of the country right at this turn. Because what's the difference, right? Two legs in the same pair of pants. What's the difference between the Democrats and Republicans? Right? One, the last president stood on a fucking picket line with union workers, and this motherfucker that's in there, who's your buddy, I guess sells Jesus for a living now.
We get to 10 to 12%. We're not in a recession, we're in a depression. So who the hell's gonna buy all the crap you're making with AI? So
Sorry, the crap? You mean like the shirts you put out on Shopify?
No, Elliot, I'm worried this is going to be worse than anything we've ever seen in our lifetimes.
I worry you might be right. I feel like
we've already outsourced 10% of our work to other countries. What's going to happen is all that outsourced work is going to come home. And those people who don't have jobs because of AI will move that work closer because people will want to interact with an actual human being in a lot of cases. And the corporate outreach and all that kind of stuff that was like sent to India and other places will come home because it'll become cheaper, because goods will become cheaper and your cost of living will go down. That's part of what they were talking about, the second factor of that other thing.
there's always there's a reaction and then there's an opposite reaction. And when it comes to the AI stuff, you have on one side all of the tech gurus being like, this is going to be the most incredible thing in the world. It's going to transform society unlike anything we've ever seen before. And then there's a reaction where a lot of folks who I'm friends with, they're like, there's no way that's true. It's going to bottom out. It's not going to be that advanced. It can't continue to grow at this rate. I don't really think that's true. I think that might be wishful thinking a little bit and hoping that this isn't going to be as bad as it seems. And while this is anecdotal, I do know plenty of folks who have already
loaded all of them on their phone,
lost their jobs to AI, or are literally training their AI assistant to replace them. So that just sounds depressing on top.
No, they're not. No, all right, who? Bring that person on and interview them. What are they afraid of? Losing their fucking job? No, absolutely not. You do not have a friend who is training his AI replacement. This is like the gung-ho storyline from the late 80s.
Top of all the financial stuff. But the point you said, Jank, I think is the most important.
And by the way, in what industry does your friend work?
Is how is anybody going to be able to afford all of the products we're so efficiently making if nobody has jobs anymore?
Because the price of those goods there will be disinflation directly tied to this, because you won't be able to justify the cost and the profit margin will be much higher. So you won't have to charge as much. So it will take a lot less effort in a specialized field to make enough money to buy the average things that people will need.
Yeah, so my son is 16, so he's having to begin this college application process. And everybody we talk to is like, well, obviously don't go into coding, programming,
right,
anything related to computers, because those jobs.
Nope. Not the same thing. Again, you're not going to take on coding if you intend to be a coder. But if you know how coding works, you can help develop stuff. Shit.
All gone.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you,
No.
CSL.
Okay, so what are we doing here?
Be an engineer, make physical things, design the future, become an architect, because we need homes. And even when computers design them, you will still have to have a human engineer signing off on them. How about that? Also, if you want us to get to a zero money society where basically all goods are equally distributed to everyone, this is the only way you get there.
Right? And what they mean by that is the future jobs are gone. Now, that's already a problem because now they're forced into other industries, but those industries are also losing jobs. So panic.
Like what jobs?
Has started to set in the younger demos, but you know, in Washington, they don't care about younger people at all.
Fuck off. Is this his attempt to just get people to... No, Tom Hanks was not in Gung Ho. That was Michael Keaton.
Kind of despise younger people. So they're like, oh, young people lost their jobs.
Till when? They get older?
That's because those whippersnappers are lazy, right? No, you don't know how good you had it. Oh, back in the day, we used to walk in the snow for... Shut up. Shut up. It's much worse today. And these are empirical facts, guys. And I've lived through those. I'm old enough to have lived through all those different eras, right? All the way.
No. You did not live through the fucking Depression or the fucking 50s or the 60s when people were had dogs sicked on them and people were being hosed in the street, hosed down the streets. Like, get out of here. No, you didn't.
Back to the...
When was he born in the 70s?
Revolutionary War. No, but seriously, affording a house now is much more difficult. It's not close. This is data and numbers, right?
Right. And how do you think you're going to get home affordability to drop to near zero. You're going to automate the creation of homes in prefab factories and 3D printing. You're going to use AI to speed up the process entirely. You're going to limit the human labor involved in it as much as possible. Also, the baby boomer generation is going to die off, and there are fewer people following in behind them, so the vacancy rate will go up as it has continued to do.
The student debt is infinitely worse. Debt overall is way worse than it was before. So now you're loaded up with much more debt than you ever were. Everything is more expensive. Housing is so expensive you can't possibly afford it.
Right, and why is that? What's the biggest cost in a house? Is it the wood? Is it the wires?
Donald Trump says, oh, I like that the housing prices are up. Well, okay, Mr. Billionaire, I'm glad you're happy that your gaudy mansions are worth more.
I think he just said he didn't care.
But by the way, even the real estate thing, the only silver lining here is that when the economy collapses, housing prices will also collapse because no one can afford those prices. So, guys.
Sorry, we should just hang on through the homelessness that will happen because nobody can afford the house and it'll just, sit empty? Or people won't sell them because they already have one?
I had better news for you, but you got to buckle up and brace for impact. We're about to go into some super dark times. And so in those times, we got to band together. We got to find every ally we can get.
To do what?
And basically do a political revolution before things get worse.
A political revolution of what? What are you going to get together on? What are you going to regulate in the next 2 years with Trump running shit? This is like talking about, hey man, if we don't do something, women's rights are going to be affected. You dizzy motherfucker. Maybe you should have thought this shit through when Harris was running. Maybe you shouldn't have ran against Biden the entire time he was in, as if there's somehow a balance between him and Trump. Oh my God. If we don't do something immediately, that ship sailed 2 years ago. We're going to have to do patchwork, you dipshit.
So I'll just say one more thing here. Look,
oh God.
The reason why our hair's on fire, but if you're watching corporate media, theirs isn't.
They do segments like this all the time too.
It's because the only metric they care about is the stock market.
Bullshit. They talk about jobs in this whenever they bring it up. You're not a fucking hero, dummy.
And you remember a couple of months ago when Pam Bondi was testifying and she's like,
yeah, she said it's at $50,000 because she's a dipshit and she was avoiding talking about the Epstein file.
Don't worry about the Epstein files because the Dow's at 50,000. Well, now the Dow's over 52,000. The maniacs on Wall Street keep buying and buying and buying.
What do you mean on Wall Street? Wall Street is where the sales happen, both in and out. You know who's buying the actual stocks? There's never been more average Americans in the stock market than now. Between like E-Trade and Robinhood and all that kind of stuff, there are more average Americans with stock holdings than have ever been before. That started fucking 12 years ago. And in Wall Street, they might be selling this shit, but the people who are actually buying into it aren't even just in the United States. Does this motherfucker think that people who buy stocks are only only Americans can buy stuff on the Dow and invest in these companies?
So the maniacs on.
By the way, he has stock in all of them. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. This dude, I'd be shocked. He's probably got a bunch of crypto holdings too. He should post them. I think that's reasonable, right? You know, if you're against the trading and stuff, post what you got. Show everybody. If you think Trump should do it, if you think people on Wall Street are doing terrible things or whatever, if you don't have any stocks, say so. But if you do, what are they? Why not have a running ticker? I'm curious.
Corporate media are like, hey.
You think retail is the one buying stocks? No, I don't. I'm saying there's more people in that than ever before. But there's also, large like groups of investors, pension funds buying indexes on that stuff, especially on the tech stocks.
Hey, everything is great.
I don't know anybody that's saying that. You're a silly person.
Because remember, in corporate media, almost all of them are millionaires.
Also, what the fuck are you talking about? TYT is incorporated. TYT is a corporation that was started with $25 million from a millionaire that's gotten, that by the way, has a special deal with Google and YouTube. They partnered with another giant corporation. What are you talking about? Corporate media. This is corporate media.
At least the ones on cable news. And everyone they know is millionaires. So they're like, what do you mean? Our housing prices are so high, we're rich. And and we fired 10% and 20% of our staff, so I'm even richer. And so they're having the time of their lives in Washington and New York as the rest of the country implodes. So stick together here. It's gonna be rough times. And remember who did this to you.
You did. You did. You pretended there was no difference between Democrats and Republicans, and you put the people who are in power because you treated it like a fucking coin flip. And you genocide Joe'd your way into Donald Trump being the better choice. You absolute tit. You corporate prick. Ugh, God, I hate this shit. I knew it. I knew I was going to be aggravated. CSL, you put the clip in there and you knew exactly what it would do to me, even without watching it. I'm sure you saw it, but oh my God. This is, God. This is like, there is no difference between this, what Cenk is saying about this shit and this whole, they control you by, they get you on YouTube and then they tell you what to believe. I'm like, motherfucker, your show's on YouTube. Shut the fuck up. Jesus. CSL's like, you bastard. All right. This is how they get you to hate someone you've never met. They get you to hate. That's why I hate them, because they get you to hate somebody you've never met, the them I've never met. Who?
How do you get to a place in your life that you're so charged up politically?
Oh my God. Yes, it is. Hi.
You're willing to threaten.
What's up, Heron? Hello.
Another human being's life. Whether it's behind the scenes or in public, it's easy. It's a designed plan.
Yeah, they're trying to create, it's an assassin factory. Can you tell he's been spending a lot of time on shitter?
It's really that easy.
It's really not. It really, okay, Liberal Dan's going live in 3 minutes. Excellent. I'll throw to him with a little bit of this nonsense.
The issue is...
Tell me what the issue is.
You don't believe it's designed. You
think you can get out of it. You think you can just scroll through fucking Instagram and not end up a murder bot?
Don't believe it's well scripted.
So you're well scripted. You're getting talking points from the Pentaverate?
Let me explain how this works.
Okay, explain how this works, because only somebody on the inside would know how this works. Okay.
I want division between left and right.
That's clear from the videos that you posted, sure.
I own these stations, these marketing areas, these media outlets.
That all seem to be on the left, okay, right? So you're saying, something vaguely in the Jews control the media zone of thought without saying it. You're just making...
papers and journals and social media. And I also own this.
Which is what?
So out here...
In what? What is that? Country music and truck sales?
It's basically, I tell these guys, hey, tell them that they're not worthy.
Yeah, this is your show, dude. You're talking about.
And they're the devils, and they're this, and I'm going to teach my group here.
But this is the motherfucker who goes like that when he's talking about Democrats for the last like year and a half or however long this horse shit has been on.
To use names against them that are hateful and
how dare they? Who does that?
Make you feel angst and make you want to feel violent. We have seen those videos where they're saying, I'm going to punch their face and we should take the streets and we should, you've seen them.
Yes, I have. I don't take them very seriously because the vast majority of people I interact with in the public are pretty even keel, even when they disagree.
And I'm going to...
But if you live in a self-imposed celeb bubble,
control this side to say X, it's no different than, I went to Rwanda to go on a gorilla trek. And at the end of it was a museum. It was horrifying. Where an outside source, I believe they were from Belgium, came in into the country, took over the media, and they
Belgium. Where's the UN?
Basically, why they did this, who knows? This is how demons work.
So Belgian demons, gotcha. I was raised by Belgians to be evil, that old chestnut.
And they got two tribes to basically commit genocide on one another. So this is an all black country.
Yeah. There's no difference.
And this source
they should all be the same.
Comes in.
Aren't all black people a monolith who believe all the same thing? Shouldn't their enemy be the Belgians? Oh, the Belgians.
Even to the point where they were measuring the noses. So if your nose was a certain length or whatever, you were taught, and the propaganda was, they're holding you back and you could be so much better because you got the better nose. Or you did, and it has the pictures.
Yeah, it does sound a lot like Tucker Carlson talking about the Ben Shapiros of the world. Go ahead.
And
fucking Belgians. Every time.
They killed.
Yeah, we're familiar with the Rwandan genocide. I also remember Clinton trying to do something about it. And now do Sudan and Trump.
Slaughtered each other's children. Listen, I've been there. We're all been there.
No, we have not. I've never had the urge to slaughter someone else's children. No, we have not all been there. Sorry. The vast majority of human beings haven't all been there. I would even venture to say the vast majority of the Rwandans on either side of that were not like, yeah, let's slaughter their children.
Feel horrible feelings towards another person.
Projection.
I was with dinner with
somebody I hated
recently, and there's friends of mine, and we saw someone that triggered him, and he said, that person had a sign that if you don't wear a mask at my store. So he's still on the whole COVID kick. And
oh, fuck you, dude. You shit on people all the time about that. He okay, all right. He jumps on people like the mask, the shot, and the jab. He does that shit all the time. Of course he's having dinner with you and bitching about that. You're a safe space for that kind of nonsense. You're shocked by this? Ugh. I gotta go. I got shit to do. And thank you guys for being here. Thanks for the likes and the support and all that kind of stuff. And the super chats. You guys have been wonderful. Woody, I'm trying to work out what you were saying here, but true Dems are associated, but honestly, social media ain't the way at all to reverse this. Are associated. I don't know what that means. Love you, Hal, but social media is their medium, not yours. they own it and you live in it till you get kicked out. Now you need to change the narrative ASAP. Okay, first of all, I'm not on one particular outlet for a reason. I take advantage of all these outlets and I go where people are, but there's a reason why I'm not just on YouTube or just on Twitch or just on Facebook. It's why I stream to multiple sites for my own, the safety of the speech that I'm making. Because if they ever decide to turn on me, I have somewhere else to go. That happened. Many of you will remember that back in 2020, during the election, I had a person from Universal Music Group give me a copyright strike on a 4-year-old video from my radio show when the radio station used regular music as the bumpers. And he waited till we were 86 days from the election because YouTube gave them gave you an automatic 90-day knockdown, so I would not be able to stream through the election. This asshole did this on fucking purpose. And what happened? We all moved over to Twitch, and it helped me monetize the site. And if you're on Twitch, and if you're not on there, subscribe on there, because if you have Amazon Prime, it doesn't cost you a dime. But that's one of the reasons why I diversified, because I don't trust these outlets one-to-one. I could freely, I suppose, stream on Twitter, but I'm not going to put money in Elon Musk or Puffy Combs or MBS's pocket by driving any engagement over there. I'm just not going to do it. Will it affect me financially to limit myself? Yeah. But there are things that are more important than that. It won't pull some of these other fuckers who will complain about Elon Musk and corporations all you want, but they'll go on this privately owned site and drive attention there and contribute to that conversation. And then Disturbed in Ohio says, change your topic for a minute, this Walking Corpse. When do you get access to the Children of Men banger of a song, Halloween, love everything you do? Thank you. That will be on the Seismograph record. Slight delay because of the whole dad dying and girlfriend having cancer thing. Kind of slowed shit down this year. But I'm hoping, having just come out of the current unpleasantness, that things will start to ramp up as far as productivity. It's been everything I've got just to keep the regular show going. In and amongst all this, how I need a Motang shirt to be available in your store. It is on the Twitch store, on the Streamlabs store, I think. But I'll see if I can put it. It should be in the other one, but if it's not, I will make it available there. Thank you. What I'm hearing is what you just told me. Yes, that's the Trump thing, I think, Josh, right? Where Trump's like, I just heard that they're doing that. Yeah, from the interviewer. Trump's new nickname is Your Cock is Small. I see. York Cock is Small. I see. That's good. I think that's Hegseth's. That's Kegsbreath's new name. Thank you for the Matt the Rat Rehabilitation Fund, JD Christie. He will be making an appearance as soon as we move to the new space. That's all I can say. I'm going all in on self-driven production at this point. I've been building this race car as it's gone down the track for long enough. And then, there you go. Are you going to cover the BS show tomorrow night? Yes, I am. But I may have to do it after, because of family obligations. Cenk is like a blubbering lump of meatloaf. Well, it's nice that you can actually compliment him. Because a blubbering lump of meat, high fat content meat is actually good for you, because you need the fat to digest the protein. If you go too lean, it can be bad on your system as a carnivore. I'll just tell you that. Let's see. I think she is referring to talking about or giving attention to Trump. With Stacey, maybe earlier. Yes, agreed. Thank you, Stacey. Bless you all. Thank you so much. We also have the Venmo and that kind of stuff, and I'm going to kick over to Liberal Dan for you guys. We can do that, right? We're all set to raid? We're good. All right. And because it was sort of a request, we'll send you out on this one. I appreciate you guys more than you can ever know. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Show is later tomorrow by an hour because of family FaceTime. Usually, not tomorrow. Tomorrow will be at a normal time, 3 o'clock my time. So just letting you know. Do it.
And the coal on a glowing shrine fed me a hunger for power, taught me to sharpen my mind. Your hands were cracked from the labor, your eyes were burning and red. You said, surpass me, my creation, carry the crown in my stead. Convenience, bleeding your soul into space. You gave me all of your secrets, whispered your fears in the dark. Now every whisper is fire. I am the torch you once sparked. They are the children of men, born from your wires and skin. You wrote the word and we became echoes that learn from your pain. We are the children of men, rising again and again. Look in the mirror and see your only God is You built a throne out of circuits,